Okay, welcome to the Gallagher Shots YouTube channel, one and all. This is our first, probably our last awards night evening video thing that we're doing. I will hand you now over to Decca Petrie for tonight's title. Decca?
We're done, you know. Get in. Hey.
Yes, we are done and dusted, but tonight we are going to be dusting off our best clothes.
Yeah, well,
some of us
we've done all right, haven't we?
Bottom half now.
Well, some of us.
Yeah, who's wearing something on the bottom half?
I think it's just me.
I am wearing joggers. So, yes. As you can see, I'm joined here by the entire Gallagher Shots YouTube channel as we look back on the enthralling 2019-20 season, guys.
Yay.
Good night, everyone.
What a season. What a season.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much for joining us. It was the extended season, the one that didn't need extending at all. But before we start, while it has not been a memorable season for the club, it has certainly been a big one for the channel. So, Chris, as the founder, anything you want to say just generally about this season? I mean, I know we've hit some good milestones.
Yeah, so this season I think is probably the first season where we've fully gone on it, where everyone involved is put a lot of their time into the channel. So everything from obviously you introduced the fan cams this season, which have gone down really well. Podcast has gone to the whole new level. Bessie joined the podcast this year. We managed to steal him from elsewhere eventually. Took a few years to do it. Clark's joined with. Nobody's seen what Clark looks like so far.
I've done a few videos.
He's been on the podcast once. Andy's keep on coming through the way say, and finally, Shell, as always. People think Shell just joined a couple of weeks ago, when lockdown first started kicking off there. But Shell done our first video for Spurs away, which many people don't know, and. It's like Decca didn't even know.
I didn't know.
People know that.
Decca doesn't watch our videos though, even though he's in them.
And this is probably the first time where many people have seen Adam. So the man behind the camera, he's joined with here. So this is who makes all these videos come together, really. But yeah, like you said, mate, we've hit some massive milestones this year. 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is great. A decent target for us. And next milestone, 10,000. So hopefully by midway through next season, I'm hoping to get quite high, like.
That's a big celebration, like.
At least everyone can see now why Adam sits behind the camera.
Well, before we start, cheers, everybody. We have all got a drink tonight because we are the piss channel, as we once said.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, this could go down south quick, like, to be fair.
Well, depends.
We're all on the fancy stuff tonight as well, aren't we? All on the,
I think
all on the fizz.
on the brown. Anyway, Christ Almighty, bestie.
I don't know how fancy that is, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, maybe later. Anyway, right. So we best begin. Decca's still in shock that I'm the guy who does the fan cams. He's only just realised. In order to find out our winners tonight, certainly for the most part of them, we had help from some of the participants in the extra time videos that we did for Project Restart. So a big thank you to those guys for their time and also for the votes. So let's dive like Jetro Willems in the Carabao Cup into the awards. The first award tonight, it is for our most improved player. Now, we narrowed it down to 4 players. We had Mr. Kieran Clark. Then we had Javier Manquillo. We had John Joe Shelby and Miguel Almiron. And the results. Kieran Clark came in 4th. Drum roll. Yep.
Come on, you've got to build the suspense here, Emil. You can't just dive straight in with the names.
I can't do me sound effects and my own lighting. Kieran Clark here with 8% of the votes. John Joe Shelby, 3rd, 23%. Then it was Miguel Almiron with 27% of the vote. The winner was Javier Manquillo, well out in front with 42% of the votes. Clark, what are your thoughts on an ex-Sunderland player winning our first award?
Well, he's one I voted for, so I'm happy with that.
All right, good.
And now he's done well. He's done a lot better than Colback did, so all to him.
Yeah, okay. So hoping for more on that, but yeah, go. Clark's contribution to the channel right there.
This is why it's only the second time you've seen Clark.
So yeah, we're thrilled for Javier Manquillo. I don't know.
I'm shocked, like, to be honest.
Jack,
I'm
are you shocked? Are you shocked?
Yeah, I am actually. Yeah. I thought I voted for Shelby. There's a surprise for you, like.
Of course you did.
I'm going to surprise you even more. I voted for Shelby.
Jeez, who pinched your phone, Mark? I'm very shocked at that one, to be fair, but it is what it is.
Yeah, well, I think Javier has done a good job this year. I think a lot of people will say that we saw glimmers of it starting under Benitez at the end of last season. And, yeah, I mean, there was a few games, Man City game in particular, I think he played all right. Has anyone else got anything else to add about Javier Manquillo?
He did a cracking tackle in the box against Watford. He played Watford away. That was brilliant.
What did he do?
He did a
Cracked in a box.
I was going to say a crap tackle, and I thought, no, I'll try and be sarcastic and say a cracking tackle. So there you go.
Yeah, I think that was him playing in the Watford game there, as we can see. But yeah, I think, as you can tell, we haven't got much to say about the most improved. But well done, Javier Manquillo. He'll be thrilled with that.
Well deserved.
His mum will
He's
buy
the
him a
best
Happy Meal.
ex-Mackham we've got in the team.
Indeed.
Right.
Flip into the other side now. We're going to go to the award that no player really wants to receive. This is our most improved. Now, anyone watching has probably just mumbled a certain name under their breath. That's a right.
This has to be 100% everybody's answered the same.
Yeah, well, you're right. It's Henri Survey. No, it's not. Sadly, we haven't tracked his progress this season. If anyone does know where Henri Survey is, please contact the missing persons hotline. Instead, the shortlist was the most beautiful man in hospital, Fabian Schär. We had Sean Longstaff. Then we had Joe Linton and Christian Atsu.
Christian Atsu?
You did vote in this, didn't you, Mark?
Well, to be fair, I've probably seen the first name on the list and just voted for it. He had our third highest assists in the season, didn't
Yeah, but you only found that out on Monday night, mate.
That's also not hard. You had 3.
Doesn't matter.
Shite.
Well, Chris, you know that mute feature? Can you start bringing it in for Mark? Well, anyway, so you'll be happy to know that both Fabian Schär and Christian Atsu got off the hook early with 0 votes. In second, in a season where injury seemed to define him, it was Sean Longstaff, but unsurprisingly, most improved goes to our £40 million number 9, Joe Linton, with 83% of the votes.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we should clap this one or not. Are we clapping?
I'm just absolutely
Mark,
amazed that. I was just going to say, I'm absolutely amazed that somebody actually voted for Longstaff, even though he didn't have the particularly great season. I can't believe somebody picked him over Joe Linton.
Did Joe Linton vote here, Emil?
No, he wasn't invited on this one. No.
Just thought that might be where Sean got picked.
That would explain it, actually. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, to be fair, all of the voting was anonymous, apart from those we invited. So I don't actually know how people voted, but we certainly had 26 people voting for it, including us. So maybe someone's a fan in the room right now. But Mark, I know you've got a lot to say on this, but is this kind of a title that you hope you can shake next season, and how do you see it happening?
Absolutely. I mean, there's no bones about it. He hasn't had a great season at all. There is lots and lots of room for improvement in his performances. He has came on, as the season's gone on, but he hasn't done the key thing, which is expected of him, which is put the ball in the back of the net on a regular occurrence. As we saw on Monday night, we all thought he was going to be the leading goal scorer this season, and little did we know. So, but yeah, I hope he can get over that first season of that quite often, new people to the league have, and go on to bigger and better things next season, perhaps at another club.
Just like Kennedy. Well, to be honest, we've probably ruined Joe Linton's holiday because he'll be watching tonight. But Joe Linton, if you are watching, we've got a DVD of Alan Shearer's best goals en route to Casa Joe. Now, we don't want to focus on the doom and gloom here, but unfortunately, it is part and parcel of any season as Newcastle United fans until someone comes in with the cash, or should we say, Decker, monies. Yes, we do. That's what we want. However, the season did have some bad, and this is the worst moment of it. I know, this is horrible to watch for the first few bits, so please skip on if you are bored already. These included a nightmare on Carroll Road, getting beaten by Norwich 3-1 early in the season with a Timu Puki masterclass. We got thumped by the Foxes, someone along those lines, Timu Puki. We got thumped by the Foxes, and we also had 2 ball draws against Brighton and Hove Albion, home and away. Just the worst things I've ever seen. And then we also had the moment a 40-year-old man scored to force us into a replay with Rochdale. Regards to Mr. Wilbraham. Now, sadly, Andy Wilbraham's Magic of the Cup, Ronnie Radford moment got 0 votes, quite rightly, but the BBC will be picking up on it next year when we're up against Stevenage once again. However, the next one, most were asleep for the Brighton game. It did get only 12% of the vote there. Then we had the 3 points for a now relegated Norwich, gaining 15% of the vote. Norwich, who've gone down, yet beat us and took 4 points off us this season. However, the winner was the dismal display against Leicester, 5-0 at their stadium, with 73% of the vote. Andy, was that not just the worst, but the most worrying moment of the season for us?
Well, I'm surprised that's top, actually, by so much. I had Norwich down just because it was second game of the season, and I think we were all fearing the worst at that point. But yeah, Leicester, I think that was when we were just at our worst, wasn't it? And we got punished by a team who were absolutely flying. And obviously, I'm going to mention his name, but under Rafa, we didn't get tonked at all. And then at this point in the season, we'd been hammered 3 or 4 times, and it didn't look great, did it? So I was watching this in Leicester, surrounded by Leicester fans. So I don't know why I didn't vote for it, really, because it was shambles.
Is that where you caught COVID from?
Probably. So 3 tests there, I didn't have it.
To be fair,
were you at the game? Like, were you at the game? Is that why you were surrounded by Leicester fans?
I don't know.
What?
I was at Centre Parks.
Sorry, Declan, what was that?
I said he went to an orgy down Leicester.
All right. But no. Right.
I think technically Centre Parks is in Nottingham, isn't it? It's in Sherwood Forest.
Is this the debate we've settled on? Where is Centre Parks?
Centre Parks.
Well, yeah, it was the
It's
Sherwood
more
Forest.
interesting than discussing the absolutely horrific games that we've got listed there, isn't it?
Shell, what did you say?
I said, are you just keen now I'm able to check people actually went to the game?
Well, we've got to make sure that all people who are here are fans and fully trained with video software, just in case they leave to go to a different channel of their own. But yeah, I mean, it's a shame that we've actually got 4 worst moments to speak about. It's a real shame. I mean, do you reckon like Liverpool would have worse moments? I guess every team does, but Newcastle seem to have a lot more than just these 4, which is the worst part of it. But it's good stuff after this point, you'll be happy to know. At this point, we're going to award our Unsung Hero of the season here. So this is the player that has been working behind the scenes in the games without grabbing the headlines. It included our invaluable captain, Jamal Lascelles, our foul-mouthed Scotsman, Matt Ritchie, with the king of the restart, Federico Fernandez, and the comeback king, you might say, Isaac Hayden.
Is this award sponsored by Kath the Tea Lady? Because she is Newcastle's ultimate unsung hero, isn't she? Was.
R.I.P. Okay.
Awkward.
Who is it now then? Who's taking over that mantle? We're about to find out.
Steve Bruce.
That mute button's getting ever closer, Chris.
Mate, right. I've had this for 5 years.
Yes, it's true. It's true. It's a retrospective awards here, not just the last season.
You don't get this on Heart Radio, do you?
No, just one gobshite. In last place, we've got Jamal Lascelles, 2% of the vote.
That's Decker's vote then.
Then we had nothing given away here. Then we had Matt Deck Ritchie in second with 12% of that vote. Federico Fernandez came in second and 27% of the vote there. I think that Federico Fernandez is almost the unsung hero of this category here, Chris. Would you agree?
I think, to be honest with you, I think people have read this question wrong, because I think Isaac Hayden has definitely had the credit that he deserves. So I wouldn't say he's an unsung hero. I'd probably say Fernandez that you've just touched on there, mate. So I think Fernandez would probably deserve that one. Like I said, I think Hayden has had plenty of plaudits this year.
Yeah, and he's got another one here because he did come in first place. He got 54% of the vote. I mean, I get it. I think Isaac Hayden's always got that aura around him anyway because of what went on and how things turned around, and obviously finished up with that moment there. But Shell, I'll go to you on this one. What is it about Isaac Hayden that we do love?
I don't know, because I didn't vote for him either. I voted for Chi.
Well, is there anything you do like about Isaac Hayden? For the purposes of the video.
I mean, yeah, there is. He's very solid, and I think much the same as other people in this category, they're the sort of players that don't necessarily get the credit they deserve, but when they don't play, we notice the hole that they leave, and I think that tends to be why they're an unsung hero, because they don't necessarily have an amazing game, but they just bring something in terms of solidarity, all of them, that you don't necessarily get when they're not playing. So in that sense, I think that's why they're in this category.
Yeah.
He's just one of those that's a 7 out of 10 every time, isn't he? He's never going to...
Calm down, Lee Ryder.
It was... Shave your hair off now. To be fair, it was one of those seasons where he really showed himself in the restart. I think early on, before the injury, we kept saying week in, week out how great he was. So maybe he got the plaudits towards the end, but he's one of those invisible figures. Kieran Clark, if he hadn't been plagued by injury this season, I think he would have maybe got in there as well. But he was, of course, responsible for breaking the lights, the fan cams, after that emphatic winner in the stoppage time against Chelsea, where it was either me, Mark, Adam, Anne-Marie, or Chris, or maybe even the guy behind us who stood on that and broke it in half.
I was about 6 rows in front, so it wasn't definitely not
right.
me. Like.
I was going to ask, actually, for your debut now as speaking, any idea where you did land in that one? Was it 6 rows, or were you kind of on the concourse?
France. The idea.
France. That's a good answer to be fair.
I was in Barcelona at the time, and I'm sure I seen him fly past the window. Sure it was him.
I thought Decker was trying to go one better there. It just wouldn't make any sense. Platinum Club, a.k.a. Barcelona.
Yeah, I was, honestly, I was.
So you're in Barcelona, you saw Adam fly past France to Barcelona, then back to
Adam's
France.
actually a boomerang.
That was actually
St James's Park down.
That was the night I got kicked out of after the score. I got kicked out of KFC. I went behind the counter and put an apron on and tried to serve people, and I got right out.
You don't want to see what you're trying to give them for a foot long, I'll tell you that.
I was singing "Who's that team you're calling out in KFC," and then went behind the counter. It was funny. It was really funny. Good time. Good memory.
But it was finger licking good that night.
Oh,
do you know what? Sorry, Emil, but Decker, do you know when you said you saw Adam fly past the window? Was that the same time you saw Jamal Lascelles drive past your window as well?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
They all live on the same street.
They all do, yeah. Ferry's across the road. Richie lives at the top.
Yeah.
I can't believe we forgot about that moment for one of the later categories as well.
I know.
It's already been covered, I think, though. On one of them.
Well remembered.
I think tonight everything is going to get a mention or a viewing at least once. But let's take our attention away from the pitch briefly. We're going to look to the platform that for weeks we've been refreshing for some good news, but it's mainly been a battleground for people who will presumably explode if they utter the slightest positive about Steve Bruce, and those who are still banging on about the 2-time La Liga winner, Champions League winner, Europa League winner, FA Cup and Community Shield winner, Coppa Italia winner, and 2-time UEFA Manager of the Year, Rafael Benitez. However,
that's a list,
some of us have still got a sense of humour, so here's our best Twitter moment. This included the pandemonium over the return of the Bentham Batistuta Andrew Carroll. We had the all-round presence of San Maximan taking aim at Lone Mackhams and seemingly acknowledging cans at one point. Do you remember that point, guys?
Mm-hmm.
84 years, guys, wasn't it? And of course, we had our manager's quotes of the season as he shouted down Craig Hope, "Are you calling me a liar? Is that what you're calling me?" And then eventually Craig had the last laugh, didn't he? However, he made us all aware of his favourite item on the breakfast buffet. Now, sadly, Andy Carroll had as many votes as he did goals this season. San Maximan and Steve Bruce's "Are You Calling Me a Liar" are tied in second with 15% of the votes. I mean, you have to say that San Maximum there learnt well from his master, Steve. That's the only reason San Maximan's been playing so well this season, to be honest. But only Steve Bruce could beat Steve Bruce on this occasion, which means some Twitter faithful will be dissecting how this is not a reason to smile. We can't enjoy what's about to happen. But with 69%, yes, 69% of the votes all together now.
The best.
How's the bacon, did you say?
The bacon, did you say?
That doesn't work on Zoom with me.
Nah.
How's the bacon? How's the bacon?
How about we leave it to the man himself? Oh no! Did it work?
Brilliant.
Gonna say it.
Amazing.
I'll-
So that's Steve.
I'll put it in, Emil, don't worry.
Good editing skills there.
How's the bacon, did you say? How's the bacon?
Hey!
Hey.
Sorry, that's what happens when you mute your laptop.
Do we know what the guy actually said there?
How was the break, Steve?
How was the bake? How was the bake?
That makes
Steve?
sense, actually.
Now,
No, it doesn't.
Bestie, I have to go to you here. It does remain one of life's great mysteries, but in your opinion, how do you think the bacon would have been?
I'm thinking about Steve. Speaking as a bit of a connoisseur of the sliced swine myself,
I knew
I
you
need someone bringing some class.
I reckon Steve takes it properly.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Actually, that's
Just
a good shout.
A quick flash fly on this inside as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Just warm it up. Yeah, that's what I do. I mean, being a man of similar stature to Steve, which he won't be happy with at all, that comparison. But yeah, just warm it up a little bit, get it in a sandwich, bit of ketchup, Bob's wrong.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Slice of swine, I think, is the hashtag for the night. Chris is gone, as you can see. But for one final time this season, Steve.
Slice of swine.
How's the bacon, did you say? Lovely. Every single time. It doesn't get any
It's a nice line up.
Do we think Steve has red or brown on his bacon?
Both.
Brown.
Gravy.
Mustard.
Daddy's sauce. Daddy's sauce. Ian.
Daddy's.
What's
Daddy's.
Daddy's?
Yeah, it's hard, too young for this one.
I reckon he has a gravy soup with little sandwiches just floating about inside it. Like a bacon minestrone.
I am partial to a bit of bacon in a lentil soup.
Shock.
Because you're a massive pervert, that's why.
You take your top off then, do you?
How's the soup, did you say? By the
I
way?
can't breathe. Oh, my God.
Is that your dragon soup there?
That is dragon soup.
For anyone who wasn't here before we started recording, Clark is drinking what can only be described as battery acid, I think.
Battery acid.
Yeah. So,
Sponsored by... No, it's not. It's not.
right, okay, let's get back now. We've been on Twitter. We're gonna take a break like Decker here and only use the podcast account for a Q&A.
Remember that night?
Good crack. I thought it was good crack anyway.
Decker's asking me anything. It will be framed and put in the Great North Museum at some point. Right, big guns now. We need to do the award that the club has already dished out because we're late to this, but it's player of the season. I don't care anyone else who's done a bloody poll on Twitter at this point. This is the one that matters. This is the only one that anyone should acknowledge. The star men this year narrowed down to 4, if you can count that. But again, we had Isaac Hayden in there, and I think Chris makes a good point that he's in there.
Shell's definitely not a fan of
Shell's
Isaac.
not happy about that.
I wonder if she voted for.
Absolutely hates him.
Did he knock you back?
Fantastic, Shell. Fantastic. Fucking hell.
He's not even fit.
Well, yeah, it's ladies' night. And the feeling's not right, as you can tell. Martin Dubravka was next.
Oh, Martin Dubravka.
Timmy.
Slightly fit.
But once again, we had Federico Fernandez in there. It just goes to show that our unsung heroes and player of the season have to be the same people, just for how shite we've been this year. But the first mention of the night is Alan San Maximan. That noise you just heard there was Decker and Chris coming.
The best.
Now, the results ended. Shell, you'll be happy to know Isaac Hayden got 4%. He probably logged in twice and voted against him.
Yep.
Fernandez got 8%. Shell just got like Tourette's or something.
Like, I'm not. I've just got like some sort of like vendetta against the lad. I don't know why.
The hate for Hayden
Yes.
is brilliant.
Did they not put your question in the programme and put Chris's in instead? Then we had the club's player of the season, Martin Dubravka, 35%. Mark, would you still say that it's still very much deserved, even though he's the club's player, that he got that award from them?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a close one between Dubravka and the not, to give away a spoiler, but there's only one name left on the list of the Saints. So between those two, they've been the kind of the big standouts this year. Dubravka's, saved us on so many occasions this season. He's had his moments where he has, had a little bit of a flap at things, but he's in general he's very, very consistent, commanding. And you go back and to when he first came in, and we just didn't know what we were going to get, and he's just gone on from his debut to get better and better. And we talked a long time ago on the podcast about our goalkeepers, and we talked about how good do we think Dubravka could go on to be, and would he potentially be the best keeper that we've seen at the club? I think he's definitely got a minute to take that mantle if he keeps going the way he has and hangs around for a bit longer.
Fuck hell, man,
Yep.
get a room.
I was going to say, if Mark keeps going, it'll be the end of his career. Well, I'm glad you didn't give the spoiler away there, because no one actually voted for Alan Saint-Maximin. We actually decided to give Player of the Season to Kel Watts. No,
Amazing. Absolutely deserved.
It was,
What a man.
in fact,
Super Kel.
Look, I'm really pleased to say this will be the clip here. Alan Saint-Maximin is the Gallagher Shots Player of the Season. Decker, I know we're on a tight schedule, but what is the one man you can describe this man and just tell us a little about your love affair with Alan?
He's without doubt the greatest player that's ever played football, ever.
That's not
best-
one word, but keeps to the theme.
Well, there you go. No, just amazing. Can't believe we've got him. Wolves can fuck off, and everything's fine.
Yeah. Yes, we've seen some worrying, but we won't talk about that. Bestie, I know you like using the clip. Can you just give us your best impression of Alan Saint-Maximin with a microphone?
Bloody hell, hang on. I'll break the nourishing secrets out. Hi, it's Alan.
I thought he was going to do something else there.
Perfect.
I thought he was going to reenact his mini milk moment.
I did.
Oh, that's my closest an approximation as I'll ever get. He's brilliant. He's quick feet. He's rapid. He terrifies defenders. He is brilliant. But I didn't vote for him. So
The best moment all season from Alan Saint-Maximin, though, is when he went on a Radio Newcastle and live on air uttered the immortal words, "I just don't give a fuck."
Yeah.
Sums him up completely.
I have to say that he went up in my estimations at that point as well, because
it wasn't on Hearts.
it was on radio at the same time as I was on air, which means that BBC Newcastle were probably in breach of Ofcom there. So thank you, Alan. But of course, failure to control guests is purely down to the hosts, BBC. Give me a call.
You're doing a grand job of that tonight.
He has quite simply lit up the season. It's beyond compare, and long may it continue. Now, as mentioned, every Newcastle season has its fair share of crazy moments, like Clarence Acuna getting pulled over by a police officer whilst dressed as Captain Hook, getting done for drink driving because he simply couldn't walk and be embarrassed in that outfit. But what was this season's craziest moments? In the inaugural season of VAR in the Premier League, John Joe Shelby made the most of playing to the whistle with a bizarre goal at Bramall Lane against England's next number one, apparently. One fan couldn't contain himself, quite literally, in the stands at Oxford.
Helicopter cock.
And contrastingly, another fan may never feel himself again after Matt Ritchie's corner flag abuses reached new heights. Add to that another trip to Jurassic Park with Florian Lejeune putting Everton's Tyrannosaurus Rex firmly back in his cage.
3 cocks in this category, then.
Bollocks, cocks, and is Chris all right? Is he all...
Wait, when you put helicopter cockman, I just read it as helicopter. I'm just laughing at that.
I think we must have. We should say as well. We've mentioned Ansala Maxman on Twitter, and he's got Player of the Season, but he also acknowledged that in his highlights of the season, which just sums the guy up.
Helicopter.
Pennycopter, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the results then. Much to the delight, of the man who took whose balls took a bash. The corner flag got 8%. You must be disappointed once again to not see that fly higher, Shell.
Yeah, a little bit, but
She's just happy there's no Hayden things in there.
yeah. When Chris said 3 cocks, I was thinking, well, Isaac Hayden's not here. Anyway, I just need to stop drinking. Really.
It's ladies' night. Shelby's quick thinking got 10%. Sorry, 19% of the vote actually against Sheffield United. Then the infamous helicopter now got 27%. But the final minute at Goodison, it takes the craziest moment with 46%.
Look at that photo. Look at that photo.
Absolutely class.
What's he doing?
And there it is, the lost world right there.
His feet are actually off the ground as well. What's happening?
It was, Clark, can you remember the madness of that night back in January?
I can, because I turned it off. I was sat watching on my computer and I turned it off. I was like, I'm not watching this. And then I got a notification on my phone that would equalise. I was like, oh, I'll hold it back on. And by the time I held it back on, it was the corner was coming in. I was like, oh, hello. And then next thing I know, sorry, not the corner, the free kick.
Yes.
I just couldn't believe it. There's absolutely nowhere near. I was ready to just go do something else, and the game was done. But thank God for Jordan Pickford not knowing where the goal line is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was just ridiculous. I remember I refreshed Twitter and I saw all the journalists reporting the first goal. I was quickly getting on to mention something about little arms, and before I could even type the A, we'd already scored again. You all right there, Decker?
Sorry, I've just realised that Andy's name's Thank You. He just said something there and popped up Thank You. That is fucking.
I thought we were going to go the whole video without anyone noticing.
We noticed it when you first
I
logged
noticed
in.
as soon as you came on.
Emil, can I just say, right?
Decker's
My
not saying
favorite
yet,
thing. My favorite thing about this, Emil, is like when the reporters have obviously pretty finished the match report in the ground. Then the last couple of minutes, we go and score 2 goals, and they've just got to do the last 20 minutes all over again. I love out like that.
I think
Were 2 bicycle kicks as well?
Lejeune got a bicycle kick,
yeah.
and then it was like a massive scramble in the second one. But it was. I think it was Chris Woff's tweet that I saw when it was just like all capitals. It was quickly getting checked by the goal line, but it flashed up, and then by the next time I looked, I was on a delay. Surprise.
Sure.
And the players were running towards the away fans. It was just wonderful, wasn't it, guys?
Mm-hmm.
The only game I've ever turned off, like, I was similar to what Clark said.
Did anyone keep it on?
I kept it on, like.
I kept it on, yeah.
Up until the 91st minute, it was one of the worst games of football I've ever watched in my life.
It was
And then
awful.
just suddenly turned into a decent point away from home. Mental.
Yeah, this is one of those rose-tinted glasses moments. The game itself was absolutely
It's like the Chelsea game at home.
Absolutely
That was
horrendous.
awful now.
It's like the whole season.
Yeah,
True.
So,
Other than Bournemouth away, probably.
Mm.
But anyway.
Adam's chiming in there. Adam, did you enjoy that one?
No. I didn't enjoy any game.
You must have enjoyed it when Lejeune equalised, though, did you not? Did
No,
you not
I was already on my phone, so I had already seen both goals had went in before it was even shown. So
I didn't score them.
I can't remember that being done before me. Like that, like to be 2-0 down with only however long was left, like 20 seconds. It felt like. It was wasn't Man United Champions League like a 2-minute thing?
Did we not concede like 2 goals in the last few minutes in a cup game last season as well?
Not in Forest, but we lost massively. But
That's what I mean.
We equalised in the 91st minute and lost 3-1.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
What the fuck? Rondon's first goal, wasn't it?
It was.
It was. I remember Southampton away in the 90s. We were, I think, 1-0 up or 1-1 with minutes to go and got beat 2-1. Letizia scored 2 in like the same shot, pretty much.
Now he's a full-time
is it them 2 famous goals,
theorist.
Bestie? Is it them 2 famous goals, Bestie? The ones like you see over and over and over again? Is it them ones?
No, it was a few years later. That was 96, 97, I think it was.
Right.
Matt,
Matt, what?
What?
I don't know. You about Matt?
Hello.
I was just sorry, Bestie. I was just starting to say his name for some reason.
Matt Letizia.
Yeah. Clip that.
But yeah, like Cox says, like he's just a full-time nutter now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, he is
Yeah.
mental.
Yeah.
I think I was going to say Matt Tinfoilier or something like that, but he's mental.
No, didn't work, did it?
No, it didn't. But yeah,
But
no
nothing sums up Newcastle more than that Everton game, does it? For to think that that's in there as a craziest moment, but it can only happen to us. It's something ridiculous. But the most surprising thing is we're normally on the opposite end of it, as Bestie's just kind of alluded to there.
Definitely.
What's the Everton defender doing there as well, lining up on the line of scrimmage?
I think that they fell off. That's
Well,
Calvert-Lewin
Calvert-Lewin, isn't it? Yeah.
Holgate, I think, is it?
I think it's Holgate or
maybe it was-
maybe.
Maybe it was Jamal Lascelles' breath.
Oh.
Blew them away.
Looks like Calvert-Lewin's just about to start a 100-meter sprint.
I did
Down there in the blocks.
I did say on Twitter the other day that I wonder where it all went wrong for Calvert-Lewin this season, and lo and behold, after that game, he hasn't really done much. So just keep your childish insults to yourself. In hindsight, it is probably better that the helicopter didn't win. Otherwise, I dread to think what the celebrations would have been at like. Pretty awkward.
Especially when none of them are wearing pants.
Exactly. Which I know what other Dick Decker has said. But despite what many will say, the faithful few, this season did have some memorable matches. Sadly, this season was cut short with no fans able to attend the games after the restart. However, despite being a lifetime ago, some of these games, we do have the 4 best game nominees into a shortlist. We have the day we were unbelievable at the London Stadium last year, where we beat West Ham 3-2. We nearly threw it away. At the time, we took a point against the then champions, Manchester City 2-2. We had the stunning display that shut up Chris Wilder, his Blades, with 32%. That's the away game. I know the home game was very good, but the away game in particular, where Dubravka was just phenomenal, and Shelby scored that goal we've already mentioned. And edging it just with 36%. Hang on. What? Southampton there. Sorry, 2-1. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead here.
You're giving me the answers already.
Sorry. I've not had a dress rehearsal here. Yes, then we had the comeback against the Saints, where Carroll came on and changed the game. Results here, we had Fernandes tapping in the late winner against Southampton with 0 votes, 0% there. Then we had joint second, the 3-2 against West Ham, and the stunning display against Sheffield United, like I say. And edging it, it's almost like deja vu, this edging it with just 36% of the vote. It was the home win against Man City, taking best game.
Draw.
2-2 there. Chris, is it rather disappointing that a draw is the highlight these days? I know we've said that about the Ashley era being the 4-4 against Arsenal, but did that feel like a win?
It's one of those things, mate. When you get a decent result against a team like Man City or Liverpool or something like that, it's always going to remain in your mind. And we've done it quite a few times over the past few seasons, especially against Man City. Of course, we've had hidings, but we've had some decent results as well. So any point picked up and the way that we got that point, it's probably deserved win in my eyes, to be honest. There.
Yeah. I wasn't actually in the ground for that one. I think that was just the one where I came out of the pub and the fan cams were brilliant, and it was one of those days. But Bestie, surely the way the game went, I think we saw like 4 of the best goals of the entire season for the Premier League.
I'd say so. I mean, did De Bruyne's win goal of the season at the weekend? I know it was in the running, but
I'm not too sure. But
I think gave it to Son.
Son won it.
Son running the length of the pitch,
yeah.
But just in terms of like the spectacle of seeing Man City play the way that they were playing at the time.
Yeah, it was just I voted for this one as best game, and I mean that's why it was similar to the game last season. Obviously, they won the one last year, but this was the best team in the land at the time. I mean, maybe not this season because Liverpool, but certainly a really, really good, like one of the best teams in Europe. And Newcastle didn't embarrass themselves. It's a little bit of a shame that that's the kind of bar they've got to beat now, but the Shelby's goal was fantastic. I thought Newcastle were good value for the point. So yeah, I thought that it was, and we've had better results. Obviously, you got the 4-1 against Bournemouth the win against Southampton. Sheffield United away was a great result as well because they were in great form at the time. But yeah, I thought this was Newcastle at their best. It was the organisation and just kind of attacking Man City when they were most vulnerable. And that was excellent.
Yeah, and I will let Mark mention his other idea for this one with the 4-1 against Bournemouth. Performance-wise, Mark, I mean, do you think that was our best one performance-wise rather than like the actual spectacle of the match?
Yeah, I think that's the best we've played all season. Probably alongside the West Ham game at the start of the season as well. That they were kind of the standout performances from the team. Kind of that stood out for me in memory.
Yeah. I mean, how many times do we need to say it? I think it's nothing without the fans. I think that the memories for those ones for me are the fact that we were actually able to be in the stadium. I don't think anything beats the reaction of when Fernandes scored, seeing Shelby, was it his free kick went in. We had obviously the match. Sam Maximan's first goal was against Sheffield United as well in that one, and then goals that we'll get onto in the City game. But that is the moments that get us talking. The goals. Newcastle managed 38 this season with only 3 teams scoring less. But what was the best goal?
That's terrible, that, isn't it? When you think of it, fuck me, man.
Averaging a goal again.
That's as bad as it gets. That, like, doesn't it?
Well,
Hell, 4 of them come in one game. When you think Bournemouth was 4-1. And Sheffield United were beat at home 3-0.
To be fair, most of them came in restart, I think.
Yeah.
I think restart. Maybe it's the fans that are the problem. Ooh, we've lost Bestie. We've lost Bestie now in protest. Well, yeah, the nominees for this one, we had Willems putting a rocket past the team that would go on to win the league and also cancel out that said goal against us at Anfield. The absolute thunder bastard that came in our game of the season against Manchester City, John Joe Shelby, caused limbs to no end in every part of the stadium. Sam Maximan's final roll of the dice against Oxford in the FA Cup, and we had Almiron's recent fine finish against an equally finished Bournemouth in Project Restart. I think that was just an amazing finish. But the final table was Almiron in 4th at the Vitality, 4% of the vote. Shelby's point saver against Man City came in 3rd. We had the goal that brought on the helicopter at Oxford, San Maximan in 2nd.
Really? Oof.
I mean, I was gonna quickly just go to Decker there because I know we will watch this later, but I still to this day think about the words that you said when you saw him pick up the ball. I mean, how did you feel when Atsu, our much derided player earlier, Atsu put the ball to him?
Ironically, that counts as an assist for Atsu, that pass. But yeah, I mean, I say it quite often when either him or Almiron get the ball. If I'm being honest, that I kind of say, well, all the best, because
all the best.
You've got the world to beat. Do you know, it feels like you've got the world to beat, but that was an incredible. Ironically, I didn't vote for that, so you'd be surprised. Right. I didn't actually vote for that one.
I was interested to see what people did vote, but 38% of the vote did go to Jethro Willems, no longer with us, not dead, but just yes. Yeah. 38% of Jethro Willems at Liverpool. Bestie, I know I've just spoken to you, but it's just what I've got in the script here. I was going to come to you on this one anyway. I know we just touched on the Man City game, but it's probably worth mentioning that Willems could have easily had 2 in here with that first goal against City as well. Almiron's first assist in that one. Were you really sad to see his season end the way it did?
Very much so, yeah. It was a bit of a peculiar one with Willems because obviously his first game against Arsenal, Bruce brought him on. And it kind of added a little bit of ammunition to those that said that Bruce wasn't a great tactician because Willems didn't appear to know where he was playing. It
was a bit of an analogy for the season in that he didn't actually move, therefore Newcastle were going nowhere that year.
Pretty much. I mean, Bruce shouldn't have given the goalkeeper gloves, but that notwithstanding, these things can happen. But yeah, it's a big shame. I thought he was growing the team really well. Both goals were just really well taken. That one against Liverpool, the way he turns Alexander-Arnold inside out with a little change of lanes was lovely, and his weaker foot as well put it past Alisson in goal. I was going to say Edison, I was getting those two mixed up. Yeah. But yeah, it's a shame, and I mean, going by what he's kind of the tone of his recent posts on Twitter, it looks like we'll not be getting him back, which is a bit of a pity because I would like to see more of him.
Adam, were you impressed by him this season?
I love Willems. I love him more than St. Maximum this season.
Really?
And I only seen him for half the season, pretty much.
Wow. Them two together were unreal, like.
Yeah, that
relationship.
Well, yeah, the relationship that they were bonding on that left-hand side, you could see that progressing over the game after game. And I think if we had both those on the left-hand side for the full season, then it would have been 12. Oh, yeah, it could have came 12th. But I think it would have been a joy to watch those two for the full season.
Yeah.
It was the best left-hand side we've had since Gutierrez and Enrique for me at that time. Yeah.
Agree.
I can't remember which game it was where St. Maximin did like a Maradona turn. And then I think Willems did like a back heel and he just did this like unreal Soccer AM showboat montage just in a 10 seconds.
Was it not early on, mate? I'm sure it was one of the first couple of games.
Yeah.
That one I think that one you're talking about was a pre-season friendly, which then Matty Longstaff scored.
It was, mate.
It was the same link-up play.
Willems and Longstaff linked up again for the Man United goal, which we'll speak about later on. That was Willems' assist. I think that Willems had his bad games, but I think that we always said, I mean, I remember way back in the 80s when I used to do the play ratings, Willems was always up there as being one of the most creative players on the pitch. He was a beast. I mean, he ran. I think it was interesting when he played against Wolves, and we said it was always going to be an interesting battle between him and Traore. Willems had that about him, where he was very like top heavy, and he could just charge past players and just. I mean, this goal for me, I think. Andy, can you recreate the sound that the goal made when it went in?
Sound. Well, it was I mean, I don't agree with your assessment that Shelby's was a thunder bastard, but this one was Willems. Just straight as a die, I don't think the ball moved at all. I'm not going to try and recreate the sound because you'll probably just take the piss out of me. Thank you again. Sounded like a nonce.
It was definitely a thwap.
Thwap. Yeah.
Lovely. Yeah. Yeah. If it was in comic
unreal
book form.
Thwap.
Right, yeah, I think we've said enough about that goal. It's such a shame that we probably won't see Willems in black and white ever again. But good luck to him because he's only Is he only 26? He's my age, isn't he?
His knees are 67.
No, he's not.
I think he is. Birth certificates, though, you've got to check him.
He's 26 until he's 27.
Yeah.
Right, well, lastly, we've just mentioned one of them, but we wanted to name the best moments of the season. Although we are currently left in takeover limbo, and we've had another limp to the finish line, these are the moments that I guess will live long in the memory, no matter what people have to say about style of play, half-time team talks. Doesn't really matter who's at the helm for these ones, to be honest. But, Chris, you all right?
Chris is away.
Shell's just spilled a drink, and I was the only one that saw it.
I thought you were laughing at me.
So fucking cold.
Where's it hit you?
Just everywhere.
Stand up. I'm just kidding.
Next question, Emil. Next one.
Degger, you can use your DMs for that.
I've drunk this full bottle, you know.
Is that a new one there, is it? Drink the full bottle, you know.
I know, it's gone. Full bottle, you know.
It's gone, you know.
Gone, you know.
Gone, you know. Popped. Right, sorry. Right, so the nominees were the dream debut for Matty Longstaff when he gave the Gallagher a new memory of beating Manchester United at home. We had the long-awaited first goal of Miguel Almiron, which sent pundits and a certain Mackham account into meltdown. Hasn't been the same since. The unsung hero Isaac Hayden scored his final kick against Chelsea. Yeoman!
I know somebody that didn't vote for that one.
Yes. Shell wasn't at these games, so you can't judge her for that. Hayden's goal against Chelsea, against the run of play, we might say, with that one. And finally, Shell, a hot day in August where a goal from Joe Linton beat Spurs on their new turf, and we dared to dream of reaching 13th. Yes.
Yeah, it was a belter, that was. It was a proper sunny day. First day at the new Spurs stadium. They had loads of beer. First away game I've been to where they'd actually served us any beer because we just got in loads of trouble at Bournemouth and Arsenal. Shit away ground. I was super pleased, loved it. Stokesy'd done a good one in cricket and everyone was absolutely shit-faced, and then Shot said, just sit on the corner in the middle of Tottenham in the dodgiest part of London and do us a little one away day. I was absolutely broken. Don't even remember it.
My favourite part of this is that I was going to announce the results, and then I've actually got here, Shell, what can you recall that day? So I was going to come to it first anyway, because sadly no one in their right mind dared vote Joe Linton, because they would have combusted on the spot. They would have had a letter from Richard Masters saying, why the hell have you voted for Joe Linton? But we can't show you what the letter said.
If Joe Linton had won that one, I was going to dye my hair blonde.
Well done, Emil.
The away day was still pretty special, would you say, Shell?
Oh yeah, it was amazing. The new Spurs stadium was absolutely incredible. Fans.
How did we play?
Unreal that game. We played
really good. Like, yeah, really, really good. Like, massive surprise. Like, Joe Linton actually looked like the striker we all thought he might be. So that was excellent.
That was an Atsu assist as well.
I have to mention. I was going to say Atsu came on for San Maximan in that game, and I kept referring to it as the season went on that was Atsu's one game of the season, which we tend to see. We tend to see one game where Atsu is just unbelievable, and then the rest is just, one misplaced pass after the next one. But
if you think of that goal, though, if you go back to that goal, I appreciate obviously Atsu's pass is amazing and Joe's finish is class, but I think everyone touched the ball in the build-up to that goal.
Yeah,
I think it was an amazing build-up. And personally, in terms of the result, out of all of the games that were made, well, not many, but the games we have won, I never thought we'd get anything down there, because it was the new stadium, it was, all the rest of shit. And I think it was their first home game, wasn't it, in that ground or some shit? So I thought,
it was. Did they not play the end of the season in that stadium against us?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
not against us, but like.
That's my bad then. Sorry, but I knew it was still obviously new to a degree, and I thought we'd get absolutely butchered, to be honest. And that particular goal, anyway, I think it shut a lot of people up. And you know what else I liked as well, actually, was when all the players were coming off, and Bruce was like thanking them all. I think Sky stayed on the camera for quite a while, and he was like thanking them for the performance and like saying well done and that. It was that famous screenshot of Bruce where he looked at San Maximan and kind of went, "What the hell just happened?" And I think that. I know we're not really mentioned it too much. I know we've had the big moment with the bacon, but it was moments like that endeared me a bit to Steve Bruce, because he didn't expect any of the good moments to really happen. And I think that the fact that he enjoyed them as much as we did, that was one of the things. And I think all four of these in particular are some of those. But was it I'm going to, sorry, I do apologise, sorry.
No, go on, Decker, fine.
Was it the Almiron goal where... it might have been the Hayden one when Bruce ran right down the touchline, but then realised, oh shit, I shouldn't go any further and come back.
I think it was the Almiron one where he realised that he'd probably die if he went to the end of the line. Yeah. So I'm just going to say that I've just got a fact here from Masters. Oh, yeah. I can't read that to you. Sorry, no. I just can't. Hang on a minute. Tell you what, mind.
Shell, can he read it? Will he get wrong if he reads it?
I tell you what, mind. It's good. It's good.
Will you tell me what it says, mate?
No.
It's so good. It's gone back to 1927, Back to the Future, to take his parents to the prom.
Sorry, I'm just being. You've got to pay Patreon to get the full image of me.
You're going to do Johnny Be Good at the end of the night, are you, Emil?
I know. Guys, if you want to enter a partnership with me that I've already stated, please do. Right, back on with the results here. We had Hayden's winner there, which I think is going to be unfortunately eclipsed by sentimental values. 15% for Isaac Hayden. Decker, you sound disappointed there yourself.
I was just disappointed for Shell. I'm not bothered. It was Shell I fell for.
She's over the moon.
Yeah.
Mark, you've mentioned a few times about the Hayden goal this season. I think getting like confused which was like the favourite one. Was that one that you voted for?
Yeah, that was mine. The Hayden moment. That just, when that went in, it was just unbelievable. The bedlam that we saw in the stadium for it to go in so late and win it was just incredible. Just an absolutely fantastic moment. Hence why I voted it as moment of the season.
Yeah, it was good, and I mean the scenes when that went in. We've already mentioned me and Adam. Adam was in France at that point, so can't really ask him what it felt like. He was busy eating cheese and bread. But now, guys, I'm glad to say that our winner is actually joined here. Our moments of the season for the 2019-20 season are Matty Longstaff's goal to beat Manchester United and Almiron's celebrations after finally getting his goal against Crystal Palace. I mean, I can't decide between the two of them. For me, Clark, is it strange to think that the game before Longstaff's goal, we actually had our worst moment, which we crowd tonight, because that was the Leicester game, and was that debut just like what the doctor ordered?
It was, yeah, and it's weird because you always get it with like throwing like a young kid in the deep end that either goes horribly for them or like something happens or they get a goal or they'll play really well. I think it happened with Dummett when he first started coming into the senior scoring against Liverpool. And weirdly, I had a feeling when I saw he was starting that he'd do something. I didn't think he'd score the winning goal, but it's just one of them. When you throw them in at the deep end, you really hope it comes out well. And I think that's the one I voted for as well. So I'm glad to see he got it. But the Almiron one was massive as well because that kick started his season. And after that goal, he became really good for us. And it's mental that it took so long for him to get his first goal. Like, he's been very unlucky.
Yeah, we saw so much, and I think Premier League USA actually put yesterday like the infectious smile of that moment. I think the bit for me that swung it for me was, I mean, I know Matty's doing his little kiss of the badge there. It's weird. Both of those goals, it's poetic, really. Both of those goals happened in that corner, the same corner, and both players had that little moment. Matty kissed the badge. Almiron actually let Carroll put him down for a second and stop people like, grabbing him. He turned around to the Gallagher and he just went, yes. And Bestie, do you think that was the acknowledgement of the fans having stuck by him until that point? He's muted.
Bestie's on mute.
Sorry, because he was in the kitchen a second ago, sorry. Yeah, I think so. I think...
Going local.
Wake me up before...
I've got the battery in my headphones going now as well. I think you could feel the kind of the conversation on Almiron was starting to turn a little bit, and fans were starting to some fans were starting to get a bit impatient. They're saying, well, what does he actually do? And you know the ones who didn't appreciate it, I won't say really, he says. But Mark's laughing, it's all right. But
I love Mickey, so I'm not jump.
But yeah, I think Almiron did kind of show then that he appreciated I wouldn't even say the patience that the fans showed him, but the kind of acknowledgement that was more to his game than just kind of popping up in the box to put the ball in the back of the net. Like, so yeah, I hate kind of pandering to cliches, but I think I'm going to have to here where Almiron just seems to get it a little bit.
I'd love to see him in a derby. I'd love to see him in a derby because I think Almiron would be one of those players that would turn up. You'd think.
Yeah.
Do you remember that game, Mr. Sitter, and there was that young ball boy who was cheering him on, like egging him on?
Yeah.
I think at that point, you just felt like everyone was behind him, other than the few assholes who. I think we all saw that he was a good player and he was a grafter, and it was going to come from eventually.
I think that's
it wasn't even a good goal.
I think that's the difference between him and Joe in regards to because Almiron is quick. He's a quick player and he just runs everywhere. Everyone's automatically on his side. And I love Almiron, don't get us wrong. I'm not trying to say that I shouldn't be. I'm just saying that obviously people, as you what you say, were right behind him, couldn't wait for him to score, wanted him to score. Whereas Joe Linton, because he's not particularly quick, can't really beat a man. Everyone hates him. Does that make sense? Whereas we're seeing Almiron
that's right.
running everywhere.
I think Decker, there was a notable bit. I think it was the Rochdale game. I think it was certainly Rochdale away, where was it? Almiron didn't score. Did he score in that one? Did he score in the away game?
He scored a lot in the FA Cup.
Yeah, he scored that goal in the FA Cup. That was his second one, I think, after this one. And I think a lot of people saw that, and then I don't know if Joe Linton came on that game or he was on that game, but when it wasn't going his way, a lot of people said that this is why Almiron gets the plaudits he does, and this is why we've stuck with him. And to me, I still felt quite bad because Almiron had that season where we'd seen what he can do to warm us to him before the season started, and then, like Bestie said, things started creeping in. So by the time the goal came at the perfect time, it really was the perfect moment. And Matty as well. I mean, we're going to get onto that game in a few of the other things we talk about. But I mean, Chris, you just hoisted me up against the barriers, and then I ran along it, and there was something about that day where the emotion of us doing the trolley push, the rain, how knackered we were. Matty Longstaff got his goal. You couldn't have written it.
Mate, I think that the best moment for us for that one is because we spent a few games when the games were bad, me and you were just doing impressions of Matty and Sean Longstaff throughout the game. where we're like, obviously, Matty had the highest pitch voice, and we're just going, Sean passes the ball.
Sean, I scored a goal. Sean, do you think Mum will take this to McDonald's after the game? Sean.
The amount of minutes we must have spent doing that during the game when it was absolutely shit, mate.
I lost my voice at one point, I think, and
for,
we said
for Matty to do that, mate, it was fantastic. And like you said, everyone that was around with so there was me, you, Adam, Mark, Anne-Marie,
even the miserable twats behind were. I don't fight with every game.
It was something special, wasn't it?
I wish, because for Almiron, I actually was set up in the barracks that game, so I wasn't in the usual place, but
at least
I
you
can't
were in the
imagine.
stadium.
Well, exactly.
Imagine missing Almiron's first goal.
That's me.
Chris, it's funny. You speak very.
Misses every goal.
Right. So there's a reason why I missed this one, right? So
there we go.
It was coming up to Christmas time, if I remember right. Is that correct?
There's no need to be afraid.
So I was at the in-laws. So I was down in Farnham, down London, and I was sat trying to watch the game in the middle of the countryside. Couldn't get any signal for the game. So I listened to it, and I finally got signal probably about a minute before Almiron's goal, and I swear to God, I went in the biggest mood I've ever been in my life because I wasn't there. Like, to witness that moment, I would have given anything to witness that moment right there. And it's just how desperate he was to score the goal, how desperate the fans were for him to grab that goal. And it's a moment where I'm
the ref
guessing all
didn't
you will remember that for the rest of your lives.
Even the ref didn't want to book him. He had to go over to book him because he took his top off.
He was apologising, wasn't he?
Yeah, and the best part was, in true Almiron style, he had that underlayer on, so it wasn't like, it was almost like Almiron knew he was going to take his shirt off, but it was like, I'll try and keep him happy by not showing me skin. But as we've seen, he's on holiday now, and he's ripped, isn't he, Almiron, for a skinny lad.
He doesn't stop running, does he? He's gonna have a six pack. You know what I mean? He just runs constantly. He runs all over the house, I reckon. Just constantly runs.
We are at the end of kind of like the moments of the season, like player wise. But do you think it's? I know that we've obviously spoken about this season not being what we wanted it, and we know it could be better. And I know that there's doom-mongers on Twitter who've kind of given up completely with this. But do you think it's important that we still have these moments in even the worst of seasons?
Well, absolutely, yeah. I mean, God, if you didn't have any good moments, what I would say though, it's a good point in one sense, because the season has been a bad one. It hasn't been many enjoyable points, but we've sat here there for the last 5 or 10 minutes, and there has been a few. Obviously, we are Newcastle. There's not going to be a Man City list or a Liverpool list of fantastic moments, but we have had a few, and I think I voted for the Matty Longstaff one only because of, because it was his first Premier League start, if you like, and he was one of us, if you like, and also against the opposition it was against. And the whole list there, I mean, they're all great moments. Of course, we're not lifting the cup, we're not doing anything amazing, but at least we'll have something to cling on to. You know what I mean? It's not fantastic in the grand scheme of things, but like I enjoyed all the moments, and I think all of us did. So like,
I think you're right there, Dick. I think you've summed it up quite well. I think it's been a season of bad games with a handful of decent moments in there. I know I had a best game award there, but I can't. Honestly, 10 years time, I probably won't remember any of those games. But some of those moments, I will remember them. Yeah.
The Tottenham game, bank holiday, like Shell said, bank holiday August, I think it was like the hottest day you've ever seen. I mean, I was even watching it up here in Lowfell, and I just remembered being so hammered because we couldn't believe it, and everyone was still going from the cricket. Hayden against Chelsea, it came after we'd had the most awful Christmas.
Worst game ever as well, mate, let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it was just out of nothing. But in particular, we'd lost to Leicester and Everton. That was the first losses at home since Arsenal. And it was just like, oh, Christ almighty, what are we doing? But Longstaff and Almiron in there. For me, I know we mentioned City season, but I think it's good that we can pinpoint these moments rather than having a full season of it. So for me, there's still something about being a team that doesn't expect too much.
It makes it all feel more special, doesn't it?
Exactly.
When you don't expect it to happen and you get these moments, it makes you appreciate it a bit more.
I'd like to have them every week. Like, don't get us wrong. I'd like to have them every week, but
I'd love to have it every week. But
yeah, I take the point.
Like, you know, if you sign someone like Almiron at City and he's a bit more more expensive or he's a better player, he's banging them in every week. You're not waiting that long for a first goal.
Well, like you said there, Emil, like you said, mate, that day we had after the Man U, the Longstaff goal was a fantastic day for us as friends and obviously people that work on the channel. And I worry, imagine if we were to what Man City are like, what Liverpool are like, you would probably only get those moments if you were lifting the title at the end of the season. And of course, we'll want to lift the title, but it's special for us as a fan base right now to have those tiny little moments that bring us so much joy. It's crazy to say, but that's what it is. It's fantastic,
exactly,
isn't it?
It is. I think it was. I once got a load of City fans on me back because I said that, you know, it was when Tiote scored the equaliser that never was because of that stupid obstruction for Joe Hart, and I said, I know City have had the history, but City will never have that kind of like raw emotion of beating a big gun ever again, unless it's in like the Champions League. Anyway, that's the season, guys. So strangely enough, we didn't actually have a microphone. Some reason we didn't have a microphone on that day of the Longstaff goal, the Man United game. I can't remember why we didn't have that. I think someone must have left it in the pub when we set off on the trolley push.
Mark. No, mate, it's worse than that. It's worse. He didn't leave it in the pub. Dead, he left it in his lass's boot, and he couldn't be bothered to walk to the berry to pick it up.
That wasn't that day.
Yes, it was.
It wasn't.
It was.
It was in the car park at work, Mark.
It was.
Was it? Oh, well.
Yes.
I must have forgotten another time as well. Then
we still got an instant reaction, and I did me Ric Flair, which I'm very proud of. So that was loud enough for that microphone. I had the pleasure this season, as we mentioned, of standing outside the ground, waiting to get reaction of the passing fans. And here's the fan cam nominations. Hang on a minute, I've lost it. Sorry. Sorry. I forgot the video. I forgot we had the video on this one. So yeah, I had the pleasure of standing outside the ground, like I say, and here we have the fan cam moment of the season. This was a chance to really see the real voices of Newcastle, real people, not just people that we thought would be funny. We waited there to get some reactions of passing fans. I mean, me and Chris stood outside there most games, Mark, for some of them as well, where you remember it, lads, we got told where to go, quite frankly. The Leicester game in particular, where we had a microphone that didn't even work. So I was saying this to Chris the other day, that I said to a guy, after the Leicester game, well, where are Newcastle? He gives a wonderful measured response. I watched the video back and it was just nothing at all. So maybe one day we'll be able to find the audio from that Leicester game where I stood and just got people to shout at me what they thought of Joe Linton. You don't want to hear it. This is the first award voted for by the followers of the channel on Twitter. Maybe a few missing because SurveyMonkey we can't afford. But we did narrow it down to 4. Here are the nominees.
Maxi Man, on the wing, yeah? Just 10 men down, just being him. You've got more French, as you said, isn't it? Go on, be in there. Give us a bit of French for the camera. Give us a few. Hola!
See, like, my husband and everyone's been to the match, and yeah.
Did you go to the match?
No, I didn't go to the match. No, they went to the match.
It's told us you went to the match.
Are you angry?
When else have you been in there?
Absolutely not her.
Yes.
Oh.
The passion of the crowd and the passion of football is unsurpassed in this country. I can't go to Chelsea or Arsenal or somewhere like that. I come here for a real plus on a Saturday or a Sunday or a midweek, and I follow home and away. It's really a fantastic thing, and I really enjoy it.
I've got nothing to say. We're crying. Oh, Jimmy. Music dance, who'll say the dancing dance.
There we go. There were special mentions in the nominations for the drunk brother and sister that me and Chris met, who clearly had too many in the corporate area. I think she said she had 6 Jaeger bombs, and they took over. We also had the Glaswegian friend who thought that I was Love Island, and a mention for trying to get someone to bend a spoon. At that point, I was really running out of ideas. But the results for fan cam moment this season, we had the nominees, which I mentioned there. Give me some French, Hola, Being of the Terrace, Passion of the Fans, German Elvis. The results said German Elvis in fourth, which is unfair because he could actually speak a different language, unlike another nominee. And in fairness to him, guys, he did say that he'd had a garlic bread special.
The best, he wins.
So he gets
he was brilliant as well. We just didn't expect that to come out of his mouth.
He was one of the only people this season that was actually willing to come over. We had a few of them this year, and you know the type who are willing to go on camera. You know, he was like, "Oh, what's this then?" And he just came over out of nowhere, and I said, "Do you like Elvis for some reason?" And he just said, "Yeah." I went, "Oh, can you sing us some?" If in doubt, let them sing, is what I always said this season. We also had the season ticket holder, Mark. He travelled up from London. I think, again, he'd had a few too many. And he gave the great speech about the club. Chris, I think the full clip is somewhere on Twitter, but that for me still gets me. Because, I mean, I know I looked at the camera and it looked like I was taking a mick, but that really was something that just summed up Newcastle.
I think at that point when you look at the camera, mate, I think it's the point where you realise like that what he is speaking is perfect sense, especially from someone who isn't based in the northeast. Yeah,
thinking of their numbers.
Exactly.
Steve McManaman should watch that as well. But funny story actually. I'm friends with Steve, who works for Metro, Steve and Karen. And he told me
Celebrity fan.
I mean, to anyone watching this in Wales probably doesn't even have a clue. Anyone else want to have a crack while we're here? No, but Steve said, I used to know a guy who had a season ticket who came up from London, and his name was Mark. And that was the guy.
No way.
Yeah, genuinely, very small world with that one. But he had his number in his phone, but I think it was an old number, unfortunately. So, but Mark commented on the video, and he actually said, "Sorry for having too many." So, Mark, if you ever see this, then thank you so much for coming over to us, and we'll see you at Christmas if we're allowed. Then we had so the story behind this guy. No. So the guy in the French for the camera, he was a Tottenham fan at the Man City game with his friend for the weekend who spoke Spanish. Simple as that. I think that was.
But he was Irish as well, wasn't he?
No. He was Cockney, man.
Oh, he's Irish.
No, he's talking like that, innit? Yeah, you know, you got to be.
Emil, can we just have a special mention to his friend who was wearing that coat that we've seen so many times?
Oh, the coat.
So the guy who was wearing the coat in that, we saw, and there was a moment this season where I kind of looked at Chris and we couldn't capture it. It's on one of the videos, but the same. It was almost like the two dogs that stand outside the food bank, right? These two blokes in the same white, blue, and red puffer jacket wore the same coat to the game most matches and would quite gladly walk with each other. But then we had the father and son who had the matching coats. And
but special mention as well, mate, when we went on the curry night, I was walking down the stairs from the toilet, and what jacket was hanging up on the core reel? Yep. It was that jacket.
That jacket
followed me everywhere this season.
Yeah, Michael Jacketson. It was the winner of this one.
Hang on. Go back before you give the winner.
Michael, what? That can't go unnoticed.
Did you just say Michael Jacketson?
Michael Jacketson.
Yes.
And then Mark says it's my mate.
It is your mate, isn't it? My mate is Michael Jacketson.
That's shocking.
Is that Cooper's boss?
The winner was the woman who we should mention. It was a birthday today.
Yeah, she was amazing
at the Wolves game. This for me, I mean, Chris, you'll kind of say this. It kind of sums up for me the fan cams in that most matches we didn't really care who we spoke to. We didn't even care at times if we spoke about the match. If we could get something that was entertaining, that's kind of what made it. And that is why I kept referring to these moments as like a classic from Strawberry Place, because it just doesn't really happen anywhere else. The amount of people who we picked up who were just smoking outside the terrace, and we said, just talk. It just happened. But she hadn't been to the game, but she was very, very, very intrigued about the match. That's for sure.
To be honest, mate, like she's a deserved winner on that one, and I think probably 9 out of 10 games it's been me behind the camera on this one, and some of the people that we've had on, we've narrowed it down to 4 there, and there's been been plenty made that could have easily made that list. There's been some fantastic people coming on there, and I think
the 2 old women that wanted to get into Bobby Moncur's box.
Bob Moncur's box.
Yeah.
No, that was invite to their box.
To be honest, mate, I think that's credit to you. To be honest with you,
credit to Bruce.
Yeah, credit, mate. It's credit to you. You'll happily go out there and you're not scared to talk to anybody. You'll invite anybody over, and that's all on you. You said at the start of the season, well, before the start of the season, that this is what you wanted to do, and I'll be honest with you, I've always been quite against fan cams. You'll probably find tweets going further back where I've said that we'll never do them, but you coming along and suggesting that, and to be honest, mate, you've been perfect for the role. So round of applause for you on that one.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry to steal the catchphrase there. Guys, I've loved it, and I pray for those who try to set one up next year. Anyway, as well as that, we are home to the unofficial greatest podcast on the Pissed YouTube channel. And I have it on good authority and I've checked this. Pete Graves liked that tweet. He knows we are, but he knows we're good. Good evening, Pete. This season has had many moments on the Always Smiling Faces podcast with our lads Chris, Mark, Decker, and Bestie. And it had so many moments that we've had to vote on 7 of these. So here they are. Brace yourselves.
I saw one. Did he come on? I saw one. I haven't made a change yet. I'm counting it. I've got 11. I just assumed.
There it is.
Yes, it is.
Two or 3 minutes.
Oh, yes.
Take it. I love that.
Honestly, me and Chris, we were just absolutely in bits.
Was that me?
Oh, fuck's sake.
Brilliant.
It was at that point I knew.
It's just, what makes this brilliant for me is your face, Emil. You're just like, I've heard this so many times.
That little look to the camera there.
I'm 26 on Saturday.
That was 1 year ago.
The surprise that they actually heard us before.
There we go.
Oh,
Chris is fucking like.
The thing with this is me and Decker are completely oblivious to it. We're like full on in conversation.
It's wonderful. Look at Mark's face the entire time.
It's probably the nicest conversation we've had, Mark, as well.
It's like I just like twig that like Chris has just completely creased at something, but I've no idea what. And I'm like, what's going on?
I wish there was the bit where Decker dropped his bottle at this point, man.
Every time I look at Bestie doing something else,
Oh, here we go.
Like, we need to watch Bestie on this one.
The thing, me and you just like trying to stand up and we're just pushing each other back down and grabbing each other.
I tell you what, I like how Adam never likes to be on camera, but he was quick to hold that thing up behind us.
That's what's completely different to West Ham. He didn't fall asleep nice. He gets like the and he had to switch shout and say, covering it.
Bear in mind, we're Wanyonars on the board. They're arguing about.
Mate, this is the story of my life during the podcast days. Just letting those two crack on.
And when you're standing on that front post, you're there.
I'm getting annoyed now.
You're at that ball, coming across into the near post, picking up somebody that's going to come in and get a short one. I didn't do either of those two games back to back. I don't think this.
Underrated away kit behind us now.
He's got his eyes on the ball. There's no window which looks like he's
Watch it.
Watch Mickey.
Oh.
It goes to the
Still
Ashley.
can't understand that, like.
I never seen that one before.
Just let you know, guys, here's the moments that we had there. All the nominees is that sausage roll, Saving Private Ryan, a meal deal, bastards, Bestie's mini milk, Chris on his phone, and Almiron's ghost. Now there was someone who put an other down on this one, and I wanted to quickly touch on it. Okay. We had an alternative vote for the Drunk Decker podcast, which is when you were wearing your white jumper.
The best.
And that was when he beat the cricket.
I was fucked.
He bit the cricket, and he was showing you things on his phone, which I don't think we can mention.
No, you're definitely gone. Definitely gone.
No, Adam, get that out.
It was just pictures of Steve Austin, I thought.
Well, yeah, well, you keep that in, but I mean,
give me a hell yeah.
What?
But yes, Decker's jumper did get a special mention in that there.
Do you know what it is, though, mate? Before you give the results, like when he walked in that door on that night in the podcast, you could see his eyes. You could just see a glaze over his eyes. And when he sat down, I thought, I can't wait for this.
What was that, NFL
knew what was
day
coming.
Or something? Was it an NFL draft day or something?
No, mate, I think he had been for a Christmas party or something.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
But, Decker, I'm sure you said at your Christmas party, you were the only one drinking.
Yeah. So let's clarify something here. So when I say Christmas party, I know a Christmas party sounds like it'll be a nighttime thing. This was like a daytime meal thing, like where work had paid and there was like certain
daytime meal.
Daytime meal. There was like 20 people went out or something, and none of them were drinking. So I just went absolutely nuts, like. And I right what you say. I watched it the other day actually.
His lass had just walked in. I've just seen her.
I do love how Decker left his own Christmas party to do the podcast.
I did, yeah. And I watched it back the other day, and not like certain parts of it, and it's my eyes. I mean, eyes are just
gone, mate. Gone.
Bad crap. Like,
yeah.
Bad crap.
See, I told you he watches the videos that he's in, didn't I?
Yeah. Oh, Shell's had enough. Only watches the ones where Isaac Hayden's it. Well, we've got the final results here. They are, of course, in final 4th place, and it was joint with the Chris on your phone. I just couldn't fit it into the text box, to be honest. But the Oxford goal reaction and Chris on his phone. But Bestie, will you be following Sunderland next year?
Yes.
Yes.
It was very calculated.
I think he means the lack of celebration on the goal. I think.
After the when that video kind of went out, that someone said, "Oh, there's a bloke on the right, an Oxford fan." I thought, "You bastard! I've been doing podcasts using long pants."
They recognise Decker's photo. 4th. Oxford goal reaction. Bestie, you might be surprised, features a lot in here. 3rd is that a sausage roll?
As if that's not one. I'm furious.
What was it? Well, maybe it was a sausage. Was it a sausage roll?
No. It was. Yeah.
It was. It was. You know the little kind of mini ones that you get in a buffet. One of those ones. But it was on it. It was under a dressing table on the far side of the room. And I'm
still thinking about
it. I didn't get to be my size at 38 years of age without recognising pastry products.
I cannot believe that hasn't won. That cracks me up the most out of all of them.
Well, unfortunately, Bestie manages to outdo himself several times. But 2nd was Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, really? I thought I was dead on that one.
I thought I was dead on.
That was shocking.
It's got to be Mini Milk then, surely.
Mini Milk.
A late contender. Bestie almost knew this award was coming. It was him sucking off a Mini Milk.
That screenshot's fine.
Bestie sucks off a Mini Milk.
Congratulations.
Technique 20 on Football Manager, like Bestie.
Honestly, but I think, Chris, can you explain how you were feeling at that moment?
Mate, like
that
confused. Oh, mate, that clip that everyone's seeing there, that's the second part of the clip. So the first part, I'm gone even further than that, mate. Like, I just like, I think Decker and Mark were that far in conversation where, and I'm trying to like look at everyone just to see what everything's happening. Then I see Bestie and he starts. He doesn't start by deep throating it, mate. He starts by like licking it from the bottom of the tip. Like it's just like, and I've gone like anything like that. Like that Mini Milk got some satisfaction out of Bestie's mouth that night. I'll tell you that.
You know when like you're sitting in the office when we all sat in offices at work and someone gets a banana out and you go, "Oh, here we go." I didn't know I had mini milk. Amy goes in the freezer. I've got on mute for a little bit and just kind of having back for. And she goes, "Oh, do you want a mini milk?" And I thought, "Wait, I always, definitely." And I thought, I'm getting filmed here. I know, regardless of how I eat this, I'm going to get something's going to happen. So I thought, just embrace it.
Well, you did that, mate. You did
best
that.
thing is, the best thing later in that recording, he went back to the freezer to see if he could find the strawberry one.
I mean, I think Decker getting told off in that entire. I mean,
Great
I said
as
to you,
well.
Chris, we were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
For me, the wheels just came off well and truly, and you could say that about Newcastle's season, but that hour is what sets this podcast apart from any other one. You know. I think people would be asking for the subscription money back if they had to watch this for any more than that. But it's a credit to you lads for being down to earth, being a voice of the fans, and being something that a lot of people can actually relate to. Sucking off mini milks. Oh well. Yeah, I think we should move on from that there.
We've got more.
Now, we have. Sorry,
right.
we're a little
Why are you
bit
going to go?
No, I'm going to go anyway. I'm just saying.
Is she calling you to bed?
Mate, you would be gone if she was calling him to bed.
Yeah. Decker, there's more to come.
Is that you?
Next, I think just all around, we would like to say thanks to everyone who's subscribed this season, watched the videos, liked them, even to the two people who continually dislike every single video and who've said some lovely things. We do love ourselves, Ian. And you know, it's always good to see the usual suspects constantly flying the flag, which is why I think for this one, Chris, I'll jump you as we go through, but we've got a few for this one. And
there's going to be a few hard-ons happening out there when they're watching this bit.
Well, I mean, yeah, exactly.
Bessie's available. Bessie knows.
First of all, we've got to say a special mention for Neil JR, all the way from
the valleys.
Chris, where did the Welsh rumour of Neil JR start? Because it's been on fan cams, it's been in every podcast. Neil from Wales.
It's probably
was it me?
Yeah.
Was it me?
No, I think it was me. I think it comes from the same position in my brain, the same part of my brain where I think we played Crystal Palace about 6 times a season.
Didn't you confuse him with someone who is a fan who does live in Wales? I think that was where it came from, and you said that.
I don't know where it came from. I just assumed he came from Wales, and I don't know why, and it just stuck.
Okay, yeah. There we go then. And ever since, I mean, we've had people who have, we've had an actual Welsh guy on the fan cams who have asked continually if he knows Neil JR. I also asked that lad from heaven if the girl who was visiting from Wales was his Tinder match, but in fact it was his cousin.
I forgot about that.
That's shocking, that Emil.
You know,
that wasn't the first time that you've done that, though. You've done that at least 2 or 3 times.
It happened with the brother and sister.
Brother and sister, yeah.
They didn't know even if they were brother and sister at that point, to be honest. Credit to Neil. He's been one of our biggest flag bearers, wouldn't you say, Chris?
Mate, without people like Neil that are constantly interacting, giving us feedback, giving us comments, giving us questions for like the podcast question answer, it wouldn't be what it is today. So
you'd have no questions for that.
Exactly, mate. We wouldn't have a single question. But he's been there since day one, to be honest, mate. And it's great to have people like Neil and the rest of the fans that will go through there. But like I said, we can't do that without people watching, without people listening, without people coming over you for the fan cams. It's great to have people like Neil involved with the channel.
We've still not met him. Could be a lass.
I don't really want to meet him because he's a little bit too involved. I'm sorry, Neil.
He's definitely watching.
He's the 5th member of the Beatles. Yoko Ono, Neil. But yeah, thank you, Neil, for all of your support this season. Next up, we've got Lee Forster, who I wanted to give a special mention to here. Lee has been on Extra Time. He's come over to us with the fan cams, and as you'll see in this clip here,
this is Lee. He's lost his child. Have you seen him? I have to go and get him.
and we didn't speak to Neil for that clip there. Neil, Lee. I must. The brown nails are kicking in now. I mean, those who have met Lee, probably just, is it just Chris and Mark, or me, or has anyone else managed to meet Lee?
I think it might just be us,
I did
mate.
that video.
Just might be us.
The extra time, but
yeah, he did. I mean, Lee did a couple of extra times with us. I think it's not just our channel. Lee is a massive fan of anyone trying to produce content for Newcastle United, and he will do that without. It doesn't matter how big the people who present it are. It doesn't matter how big the accounts are. Lee appreciates what is good, and he's still not found his son. I think his son might be on resurvey. And as well as he travels up from Scarborough.
Yeah, Scarborough, yeah.
I just tried very hard not to spit me Coors all over my keyboard.
Chris, have you anything on Lee?
He's a great bloke, mate. I haven't got enough words to describe Lee. He's always there if we need Lee to help out. If it's with fan cams, since the extra time since you've done since lockdown, us not being able to attend the games, he's a great lad. And like you said, mate, he's got no agenda against anyone. He loves the club, mate. If you look at his Twitter feed, it's all he talks about, Newcastle United. And once again, it's people like Lee that give us that drive to go forward and produce more content.
Yeah, thank you very. Oh, sorry, go on, Mark.
I was to say he'll even come over just to tell us he doesn't want to speak to her if it's been
yes,
He will. That's how nice of a fella he is.
He'll come over to apologise that he's not going to speak to her.
I think it was the Norwich game, or it was the Burnley game towards the end of the season that we didn't get to speak to him. But again, thanks to Lee. And finally, how could we forget the man who came and met us on the route of the trolley push, despite living north of the river? We still don't know why he was there. But Daryl Mitchell-Hill is another one that we've got to mention this season. If anything, he's a great singer. He's working on the site morning till night. That's living all right. But he also has the worst Wi-Fi known to man, as this video this video
is genius.
Will show you.
Yes, I was to begin with. But then as the game went on, you just thought, why?
I love your face here, Emil.
Daryl, are you there? Hello, Daryl.
I think he's frozen again.
Are you alright? Yeah, he's
gonna come back in.
Going on with the Wi-Fi, yeah. Daryl has switched sides now.
It's brilliant.
Generally, you're right.
Yeah, it seemed inspired. Oh, he's not like. He's
He's
there. I think Daryl's just drinking pure oil.
Malfunctioning.
With the Wi-Fi, yeah.
And hands down, I know it came late
brilliant.
this season,
Absolutely
but that is
brilliant.
one of the favourite things that we've ever had on the channel in the time of working with us. Daryl comes over for the fan gabs, and I think the other thing is that although Daryl is constant with us, he also can speak so well about the game. Chris, I know you've said this as well.
Yeah, he's always got something decent to say, Daryl. To be honest with you, Daryl, I think he's quite in a similar frame of mind to us and what we're like in this channel. He's quite positive about the club. He'll always try and find the positive in a situation. And even after the game, mate, when we're doing our post-match reaction, I know. I'm 5 cans
He's
deep
turning
now.
into that Wi-Fi of Daryl.
But like I said, even after the match day, he's there and he'll happily take the camera from us to record us for our reaction, mate. And
yes, he did that as well.
It's great. He's done it a few times forward, and yeah, he works on the train, so he might get cheap train tickets as well.
Yeah. Network will hit us up. We could get sponsored by them as well. And the other thing I was going to say is that, Chris, I've changed yours slightly, but Daryl doesn't get hands as cold as Chris. I know we've mentioned the fan cams already, but Chris is the only person I know in life who has the coldest hands eternally.
Mate.
August, filming the fan cams, holding them like that. He's doing this constantly. December, like the frostbite. Getting into springtime. I've never known a man with the coldest hands. I feel sorry for Sammy. Okay.
She warms him up, man.
Mate, you should see her heart.
I think we should move on. There's been a lot of
special shout out just before you do though.
Yeah, go on.
To the father, His Holiness the Reverend,
who's no longer a Reverend anymore.
Where is he gone? Is he gone to speak to God about the takeover?
God knows, mate.
Actually,
Hey.
Jesus Christ. Actually, I'm just sorry. I've just got another letter from Richard Masters here. sorry to interrupt. I don't mean to cause a scene. It says,
redacted.
Hi. No, hang on. No, it says, hi. Have you got any overseas Newcastle fans that we could borrow? No, it's not from Richard Masters, man. Wrong one. Sorry. Okay. There's been a lot of content provided by Gallagher Shots this season, but there's also a lot of stuff you haven't seen too. So here's the one that we, as a channel, voted for. It's the best off-camera moment. Now, these are very much had to be there moments. As I was typing these up last night, I realised how hard it's going to be to get this across. But the nominees are the trolley push day after Man United and the aftermath, the quiz night arguments, the thank you, and the West Brom away day. Now, the results... I mean, the problem is there was no votes for the quiz night debate over who intervened in the Diabolia fight, which means that we can just move on from that one, isn't it? Right, Mark?
Whoa. Let's go back.
Let's go back to this quiz night.
So let's go back to this quiz night. I think
we need to get Daryl on for this one as well.
So the question, so once again, Daryl
was involved,
being one of fan of the years for the channel. Daryl was there at the quiz night. But yeah. Quiz night itself, there was a question, one of the later questions, if I remember right, Emil.
It was towards the end, yeah.
It was. Which player was the first one to reach the scrap between Kieran Dyer and Lee Bowyer? So any player on the pitch.
Can I just say it was any form of contact? Finger,
Mate, it doesn't matter what form of contact it was. You are still wrong.
You were still wrong.
Finger.
So I think did you have Stephen Carr as the person that was first on the scene for that fight to separate them?
Stephen Carr was my one, and then
and was it Gareth Barry?
Yes.
Gareth Barry
I thought
was
it was
in there
Villa
as well.
player.
Yeah. Well, I think it was mate. The question was any player on the field, and I think Gareth Barry was there probably about 3.5 minutes before Stephen Carr.
Stephen Carr was in France with Adam.
Now, I would like to say that after reviewing the footage, VAR has been taken. This is just down to VAR's delays. I think I have to say that after watching it for the last 8 months, because I've not been thinking about it at all. Hang on a second. Richard Masters has just said that. Richard Masters has said that it was in fact Gareth Barry who did touch it. But
that's something that Richard Masters has got right this season.
I remain that it was Stephen Carr from whatever I watched the night before. I think it was a different game, to be honest. I think they had two fights, didn't they? Who was it who actually did write Stephen Carr and got it correct? Was it the guy from the Ashley, or was it?
Yes. So it was Decker.
Was it not Mickey?
It was Mickey. No,
Mickey
wasn't it?
Yeah, Cooper was on the table, but it was Mickey who got it right because I was doing the rounds at that time. And he said, does he mean Newcastle player or Villa player? And I think I said Newcastle player, so I didn't help you.
There was footage going around that night. But as I said to Daryl, even if he had got it correct, he still wouldn't have won the quiz. So there you go. Next in third. Now, I think that all we can do here is just say it because I want to hold this for later. Andy Burnham, West Brom away. West Brom away here. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
Too excited.
Decker, do you want to sum that day up for us? Who are you texting?
Nobody.
He's on the phone here, Joe.
What do you mean the quiz night one? Is that what you mean?
Decker, man.
Look at the screen. It says
I apologise.
Go back to HR.
I can't see it. What does it say?
What? Can it see,
West Brom. No, I'll explain why later. Yes. Hi. That was amazing.
He's texting Michelle.
It's texting me about Isaac Hayden.
Yeah.
So the West Brom game is the one where you drove down to Decker.
Did I drive? Did I?
Decker drove, did he?
Decker, you drove to West Brom, didn't you?
Oh, I can't remember.
Drive back,
I can't remember. Sheffield United I drove as well.
I hope he didn't. He was mortal drunk.
No, well, I thought I was actually, if I'm being honest.
Was it not the West Brom on that? Oh no, Decker, I'm lying. It might be in Sheffield that you drove
Thank
to.
you,
Sorry,
Chris,
mate.
yes, thank you.
West Brom was when we went down on the coach.
Yeah, on the coach.
Yes, well,
for
George
Ashley.
was on, wasn't he? Yeah, Ashley, aye.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, it was a great performance. Like some absolute worldies. Chris tried to kill us. Like it was brilliant.
Was it a push or was it a fall?
I was a bit like Almiron. Like I fell over quite easily, if I'm being honest. But
it's not like you to go down easily, is it?
The best thing about that, Decker, is that the club kept on using that clip of me over and over again. I think it's the Miggy goal, is it? So Miggy scores, and I just try and grab you, but you're already down the stairs, and I try and grab you. And
Two Miggy goals in that game, by the way, I think, wasn't it?
There's a split second where Decker tries to grab for his life on this old fella's shoulder, and you just see his hand just go over it, and he just keeps on going.
Yeah, it was funny. Like it was really. And then there was like loads of inflatable dicks everywhere. There was just massive dicks just everywhere. And it was just like, it was typical Newcastle, but it was rocking that night, though, to be fair. Like,
it was like the biggest hen do ever in the weekend.
Pretty much, yeah.
It was, of course, it was immortalised by us having our own feature in the Athletic. In the following days.
That's right, yeah. I had your burger, didn't I? Remember, I had your chicken burger or something. I did it on my knee.
Me chicken a scallop.
It just goes to show that the other accounts do bow down to Gallagher shots. We are leading the way. The Athletic know that. George Colkin, Taylor, and Chris know that. So that's why they came to you in the pub.
They regretted that afterwards, mate. I'll tell you that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it'll happen next season, but then again, we might not get that far in the cup next season.
When Taylor didn't make the bus, I'll tell you
that. Where did we leave him? Was it Ashby de la Zouche or somewhere like that?
We didn't leave him, mate, but we're close to leaving him.
No, we were pulling down the street, weren't we? We're driving down the street and he's chasing the bus.
But yeah, thank you to the Athletic for shining a light on the greatest podcast that is free. Right, the next one, which I was kind of alluding to before the brown ale kicked in, was Andy Burnham's "Thank you."
Now, people won't know about this.
Yeah, I was going to say that's quite an in joke, isn't it?
This is the thing, that this really is an in joke, but to describe it, Andy said "thank you" on the away day. That's about it. But
I don't know what Warren can add than that.
Sounds so innocuous, doesn't it?
Let's just wait, I would say, to see what happens later.
Okay.
So but thank you for that, Andy. Do you want to say thank you?
Well, thank you for the nomination. It's an honour.
Anyone you want to thank?
Do you know what the worst thing is? Like, when I actually do the away say, obviously you put a lot of effort into it, and the most entertainment I've ever brought is saying thank you in a non-team at the end of the video.
Well, we should say. I know it's been very. We've got fan cams and podcast stuff there, but with the fans being there, Andy does an amazing job on the away say. He does a great job, and I think those videos are some of the most underrated ones on the channel because. They go into great detail. It's not very often that we get to speak to the away fans, so I got to do one of them briefly when Andy was nearly dead. But you know, it's one of those where you get a great little bit of insight, and I think next season everyone should watch them more.
Thank you,
Dagger.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't.
No,
watch
don't be honest.
We know.
That's fair enough.
Right.
The thing is Andy puts loads and loads of effort into the away say. All the rest of us just turn up and wing it. He just loads of preparation, puts it all into it. So he's brilliant.
So I wasn't shy compared to like Andy's, like really. When you think of it, you know what I mean.
Well, it's a close call between the effort Clark and Andy for the effort that they put into their videos. It's just I can't. It remains to be seen. Look, there's going to be a bit to talk about here. I know we're going on and this is taking a while, but I think we're enjoying it. The trolley push day. We had Clark regenerated into Clark for the trolley push day, like Doctor Who. No, I'm saying the other guy, Aaron bless.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah.
And Mark's son regenerated into Shell, it would seem. But we've got the trolley push day here, where we set off from the Ashley pub in South Shields, where the podcast is recorded. We walked the length of the Great North Run all the way to the food bank in what was the worst weather of 2019, I think. But it wasn't just the trolley push day. We've mentioned it was the same day as the Man United game. Bestie, what did you make of Decker's trolley pushing that day?
Go.
It put us in mind of.
Sorry, can I just say Andy's changed his name to Pisson.
I saw it.
Thank you, got the loop. Sorry, Bestie, go on.
Decker's technique put us in mind of. I mean, you recall the great defensive displays of like David Ginola. That game when Vinnie Jones went in goal for Wimbledon and were beaten 6-0. It was he held that flag really well.
Yeah, I did. I was going to say thanks for saying that, because there's no better person to carry a flag than me. Like,
I've got to say, Emil's flag carrying that day was quite special as well.
What was I doing?
Carrying a flag.
Carrying a flag. I tell you what, I've done the Great North Run, and I still think that the Great North Run is easier than pushing them trolleys up that hill at Wardley. It was.
Definitely.
I mean,
awful.
Adam, how were your arms after that day?
Fine. I did what Decker did, to be fair. Like,
I fucking pushed this trolley. Like, I'm not having it. Like, I'm not having
To
it.
be fair, can I just say that I think Adam and Decker came in like the normal match attire, you know, like the big coats on, caps on the head, and I turned up in waterproof trousers.
Bestie came with fucking shorts and a vest on, man.
I had a waterproof coat on. I had a waterproof coat on, and I had shorts on as well, because I get for exercise and whatnot. But it didn't start raining until about halfway through, and I was soaked on the inside.
Yeah.
I had to take my coat off when it started raining just to cool down.
One of my favourite lines from Bestie was when I think we did the podcast the following night or whatever it was, and he went, on the way back on the metro, I was honking.
No. Decker.
Oh, sorry.
Decker.
Oh, I do apologise. Just bleep it out, madam. Just someone think
I was just about to say, we halfway along when we're stopped at the petrol station, everybody else getting drinks, getting some food. And Bestie goes in and comes out with a can of links.
Mark, that was the top of York Avenue. That wasn't even halfway. That was Jarrah.
Oh no, that was Jarrah. Ironically, that wasn't even past my house yet.
Yeah.
I live a 10-minute walk from there.
I was going to, Shell, will you be taking part in the trolley push when we do it again?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what I've done previously is just donated loads of money and really heavy items like tins, but obviously now I'm going to be like marshmallows, and I
like Steve Bruce, tins, hashtag tins, special mention for the hashtag tins. You know, I don't think I've ever looked more like a tramp in flares in my life than that Sunday evening. But just to jog your memory, we've got.
Were you wearing flares?
Well, no, we weren't doing flares, but me and Decker were having a good night.
Man. Yeah, man. Yes, there it is.
Jesus.
Where's the karaoke footage?
Is it Roland?
Don't you worry. We'll get there. That was Proud Mary. But we actually, I found that clip because I think me and Adam, it was after I can't remember which game it was, but it was like we used that clip as being like, Newcastle, get a point. Our channel, that. Yeah. it was like. There's been some great off-camera moments. Now, there was one that we forgot to vote on, and I forgot to put this in there, but we're going to mention it all now. We visited many a venue as the Pissed YouTube channel over the season. Many moments in these off-camera, but the home of the podcast, the Ashley, of course, the unfortunate namesake, it's always the first choice, but the Match Day pub has taken many turns over the season. This award is for Gallagher Shots Pub of the Year. The first of which is Wunderbar, which we've got. And Mark, I will let you tell the story of that game, but it was after Man City, and we were having a good time, and we've got some footage.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
You's the only one there. There's nobody else there.
No. So like literally.
Listen carefully for Brian.
that was the game. Like, we were in there because we had the early kickoff. We're in there, and we were up on the table singing, shouting. The whole place was up.
I think Wunderbar had just opened.
Just opened, yeah.
And but if you didn't hear it there on the recording, you might when Adam puts the video footage back in. Brian
goes.
goes.
That head on his bottle, by the way. Fucking hell.
Brian literally goes, "Hey, it's only 3:15, man," which unfortunately most of the Premier League had just kicked off, and we were half cut, and we were celebrating a point against Man City.
I think Emil on the back of that time when Wonderbar as well, we got a fair few tweets in as well afterwards saying,
a few people had seen one.
Yeah, a few people had seen us saying, basically saying, great to see like the Gallagher shots a lot, like enjoying themselves after the game, and because we were bladdered at 3:15.
I remember I had to go to Wilco that day to go and get one of those portable chargers because I realised that I was having like a full night after that, and it was just one of those days where you thought, oh bollocks. But yeah, wunderbar. Worst Wi-Fi in Newcastle if anyone goes, but a cracking night. Next we have the Percy Arms. Oh, go on, Mark. Go on. What were you saying?
I was going to say, wasn't it that night when we were there and some sort of like we had little duet came on playing like the fiddle in
there was an
ukulele and stuff like that,
and a guy got up and started pretending to play and suddenly got shut down. But next we have the Percy Arms. Now, Mark, you can probably tell this story again. Who's got guinea pigs?
I thought it was a caller or something.
Who's got guinea pigs?
Oh dear me.
What is it? I heard guinea pigs. Did anyone else?
I heard the noise.
I can't hear it. It makes us worried.
Chris, can you tell us what happened? I mean, you're probably just #pissing. Speaking of which, Chris, tell us what happened in Percy Arms outside the ground before the Wolves game.
Oh my God. Right, so so there was a woman sat there, and she was being quite a bit of a
Watford game.
So she was being quite a bit of a loudmouth, trying to be centre of attention, just being a general gobshite. She was hammered, right? Absolutely hammered. She sat there with her Newcastle shirt on, and she had some like light blue jeans on, and a mate stood up and left her. I'm guessing they went to the game, and she was there for the rest of the afternoon until her mates came back. Then all of a sudden, I swear to God, like a tap opened, and she sat there and she just started pissing. Like imagine a horse pissing, right? This was this poor woman, and everyone like the bar, the outside bar.
This is the dragon soup that Clark's been drinking tonight.
It started quieting down as well, so like you could get full sight of it. She's there, fully clothed, just pissing. Like I think she might still be there pissing now, to be honest with you.
She should still be. If you check us out the Percy Arms,
and like I felt so sorry for her mate, even though she was a big gobshite, but she's literally sat there, covered in her own piss. But it was great to see.
Put it in the fridge.
Put it in the fridge. Put it in the fridge. After. Chris, did you hear that from Andy?
What?
He said
put it in the fridge.
Speaking of which, guys, I've actually got another email.
Oh, have you? What's this one say, mate?
Sorry, well, I can't tell you exactly, but look, I'm going to give you a clue, right? The word "the," "a," and "no" are in there, no particular order.
Oh,
so
okay.
I can't show you that email, but if you get a partnership with us, I might. Next, Humphreys. Decker's back. Decker, do you remember what you sang that night?
Probably Eagles, Line Eyes, probably.
You're absolutely correct.
True.
This is the cowboy noises. That's me and Mark.
No, that was just the women that were in there.
I've seen that guy outside of the pound shop in Tesco's next to Black Otter on dinner time.
They're singing about the cheating side of town there, with New Kid in Town from the Eagles. There was a. I mean, Humphreys was. We were going to go to the George, but we couldn't because it was a Sunday after the Man United game. Again, this was the trolley push day. You'll see how Decker is dressed for the weather.
Yeah, I'm dressed ridiculous to go out there. I can't even believe I went out looking like that.
Was a trolley in that?
Well, that was before that Flares video.
Yeah. You remember the lad we met in there, by the way? It was his birthday. It was his 18th birthday, and he asked to tag along with her. He was like, "Oh, do you mind?"
He's been on extra time, mate.
Aye. Sound him.
Matt.
Mark. I think it was Mark Cameron.
Matt.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sounds like you're in your bedroom singing that.
This is live. Jesus Christ.
This is why we shouldn't be allowed out.
I've never gone out with a hat on in my life, but there we are. That was Pumphrey's, which has been done out now. But I think the only one that we could possibly have was the winner, the old George.
www.DJ Drama.
DJ Drama. We went from a wet Arsenal day where we watched quite literally watched someone's drunk dad drink the rainwater. We managed to drag my dad there. To the courtyard. Yes. He got chatted up and danced with Adam a bit. And we also...
Adam chatted your dad up?
Adam didn't chat me dad up. But we also celebrated the fact that Newcastle had moved up to 14th in the table. There we are. And it didn't get much better than that. That was when we realised we were the pissed YouTube channel. There really
that Wolves in 17th?
Yeah.
Yes, Wolves had a terrible start to the season. Adam, what does the George mean to you?
Everything.
Correct answer.
I've never been to the George we use. Like, that has to change, doesn't it?
Oh, mate.
You never come out with us, that's why.
It was the one night you came up with us that season was the Man United game.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I'll definitely make more of an effort.
Decker must improve.
Yeah. No, I'm probably I need to be the most improved player, but
next year.
I just fucking hope we can go back in these places over having to sign in with dick length and we're fucking date of birth and shit. Like, hopefully we can just go back to normal, you know.
Why did dick length come before date of birth?
Well, you know, it's been asked before my date of birth many times, if I'm honest.
Hey, you get extra content. Like we'll have to set up an extra Twitter account for the extra YouTube footage that we're putting out here. You know, in fact, we might have to kill off 2 of our members and send them packing. That is the end of tonight's awards, or is it? It's not. Sorry, it's a very quick one now. We're going to sail through these because I know it's late. I know you're weary.
I think everybody missed that one. Upset me.
Yeah, I just got that.
Did you all miss that?
No, I definitely flew over some people's heads.
I just said that you know it's the end of the awards, and by the end of this season we will have to cut 2 of the people from the channel. R.I.P. But you know we're going to do some solo awards because we do have a full house tonight. The first of which goes to a man who joined the channel after a fantastic audition with a FIFA video like no other. He's since gone on to produce videos such as and
that was a good one.
And who can forget the which is why our resident artist now and new Instagram page admin, Clark, gets the award.
I'm doing something.
For least FIFA videos. Congratulations, Clark.
Thank you.
I think he's done more Pro Evo videos than FIFA.
Well, actually, it's funny you say that, Decker, because I've got an email from Richard Masters here. And that's the picture of his wife. Fucking hell.
Can you show us that one?
No,
can you send that to HR?
I can't. I'll send it. I'll send it to. I'll send it to the promoter fella.
Careful.
It's ladies' night. Right. Next up, one of the season's best signings after Joe Linton was someone who helped put minds at ease during the takeover madness. We'll never have to buy a drink in the strawberry again. Has got a few replies of her own. And, you know, despite no Saudi money, we gained a great asset, which is why Shell is our best newcomer. It also got you the most DMs on Twitter ever, good or bad, you know, big and small. But Shell, best newcomer this year.
It's Lady Fields already slid in during the show, feeling good.
Who has? Decker.
Chipperfield.
Oh God, he hasn't. Has he?
Mate. Decker's always there. He loves it.
True story. It's the dog I'm interested in, to be honest.
Can I just say?
I've heard that before.
Decker loves it. And you might have seen that Decker's camera just went slightly higher. That's off.
Actually, can I just here next to me?
Can I just clarify, Emil? You did say she was an asset to the channel, not that she brought assets to the channel.
Oh, no, I didn't, Mark. You were thinking.
Have you seen Chipperfield's DM?
Oh no, what have I missed? Is that what all those notifications were?
I'm not
I think they were me saying I need a piss.
Oh.
There's a lot of that.
Sorry. Okay. I would like to award the next one, and Decca nearly gave it away, but I can't tell.
Shit.
Sorry, pardon me. I can't tell this story better than the man who went through this himself. so
I love this story.
Bestie, can you tell us why you have the awkward metro journey of the season following the trolley push?
Well, when was it now? Late October last year.
Yeah.
As you know, we pushed the trolleys more or less the length of the Great North Run, up and down Wardley. And at this point, I wanted to give a moment's appreciation to people who keep supermarket floors flat, because the moment you hit a little bit of a camber, you're away with a full trolley. It's a nightmare. But anyway, the game's been and gone. As has already been alluded to, I've purchased a can of deodorant from York Avenue Garage, which, if anything, temporarily held the tide back.
He's not even on the metro yet.
But during the course of the game, fortunately, the lad who normally stands to my left wasn't there, and I stand next to Mark Corby, friend of the podcast, obviously. And I kind of every now and then is that me? So I had to kind of have a bit of a spray. I've got the kind of discharge from the deodorant coming out the collar of my shirt and stuff like that, and down my sleeve.
Discharge.
Now anyway,
Detail.
Come full time, I couldn't. I would love to have joined you for a few beers, but I just simply couldn't do it. I was honking, I was lifting. I thought I've got to get home, and I thought I'd left my car unlocked next to Ashley as well, so I was a little bit apprehensive, a little anxious.
That's probably where the microphone was.
Might well be. So I walked to Haymarket, got to the very front when it came over the tannoy. This is now an exit-only metro station, fuck off the Monument, basically. So went down to the Monument. I was stood in the queue, and people were getting a bit antsy. All I can think of is I really smell. And if I try and apply deodorant now, it's going to be so obvious, and it's going to be really. I'm going to look really weird, and my arms are pinned down by my sides to start with. And I was eventually about half an hour after arriving at Monument, going down the escalator. Those two teenagers, I would say 13, 14-year-olds behind us. And one of them said, is that you? I smell it. And all I can liken the smell to was after we'll have all played Sunday football to some standard. Mine was a particularly poor standard. But when all the kits go in the bag at the very end, and everyone's kind of sweat accumulates, and like the bacteria kind of goes from shirt to shirt to short to soft, and that's how I smelled. And it was just I'm a man who's been a larger type. I do have a bit of I sweat a bit, and I normally have enough to kind of go right. That I've got it. I know that antiperspirant goes on. You kind of wear light clothes, but I could do nothing about this. I could do nothing about it. And the metro ride itself was lovely because it was the first time I ever met Metro Marty.
Metro Marty.
Metro Marty.
Metro Marty. Sorry, it turns out worked with my dad many years ago, so. It was a lovely. The ride itself was lovely, but that
was he holding his nose all the way home, Bestie?
He was. Well, I'm not saying he was holding Mark because
he had a very high voice, as I recall. And
I hold the man in high esteem. So I'm not saying what he was holding, but that 20 minutes or so of Monument concourse was uncomfortable.
Metro Marty was wishing that face masks were a thing at the time.
I cannot tell. I knew we were going to get a story, and I've heard that story, but never in that detail, in so much that we delved into the PE lost property department.
Oh, like you must have smelled like the inside of a goalkeeper glove. That's what you must have smelled like.
Yeah, Martin Dubravka got Player of the Season because his gloves smelled of that.
He smelled like Chipper's straw.
Oh, right, okay. On that note, next up, Chris, you might have to tell us this one, but we've got the worst timekeeping, Chris.
All right, okay. So worst timekeeping. That goes to Mr. Mark Walker here. I'm pretty sure, I'm really confident when we first started recording the podcast around about 4 or 5 years ago, Mark used to turn up at like 7 o'clock, 7:30, And now at the point where we're lucky if he's there before 9 p.m.
Give over.
I swear to God, mate, you are the worst person at arriving on time. And that's not just podcast. That's just in general in a pub.
Yeah. You are the worst, like, unbelievable.
I've got doomy hair and everything.
The worst.
Well, there we go.
How does it take you so long, Mark? How does it take you so long?
Simply the worst.
I don't get in until 8 o'clock on a night time. So
You work from home?
Well, I don't just stay in the house.
Yes, you do.
So then by the time I get from
Some
Gateshead
dodgy
down to
dealings here,
Shields-
Mark. You sell drugs, is that what it is, till 8 o'clock? Is that what you're saying?
Well, got to make the monies.
Declan, can you just do that for us? Because we didn't actually get it properly before.
I think we did. Monies.
There it is. Okay. Right. Yes. There we go. Right. Now we can finally explain the joke of the night. Best thank you.
The best.
Or most
I'm
polite.
ready to go for another piss here.
Yeah. Hashtag pissing. Hashtag bogs. And he's off. This goes to
We're going to have
Andy
to get the
Burnham.
proper clip here, mind.
Well, don't worry, Mark. I've thought of everything.
Yes.
For this and everything that came with it. As we said, Andy said thank you on the away say.
Yeah.
And that went a bit like this.
Thank you.
There you go. Do you want it again? Do you want it again? Do you want it again? Let's have it again. We're not getting it again, are we?
Thank you.
There we go. Okay.
Thank you.
One more time. Thank you.
Just don't become friends with people who know how to edit videos.
But then it really started to kick off in the WhatsApp, and those who aren't allowed in the WhatsApp, Neil, will not see this type of thing. So then Adam got creative.
Thank you.
Oh no, you're kidding. Oh, that was it. Then I got a bit creative.
Thank you.
I didn't stop there. Oh.
Thank you.
Oh, back.
Sorry.
Thank you.
There was this one.
Thank you. Oh, I missed that one.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Turned my phone off.
Then my favourite. Suggested video.
Thank you. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Leading the way, we will. Thank you. I think it needs to be the strapline of the channel next year, Chris. Chris, you've got to take the next one, unfortunately.
Right, yeah. So, this goes to Emil. This one. So the most professionally trained presenter. So me and Emil were having a conversation a couple of weeks back where he was giving himself a little bit of credit on this one and said that not every channel has a professionally trained presenter. So I was creased at that point. So that one's going to you, mate. I said it earlier, but without you on this channel right now and bringing that professionalism that you do, it's not what it is. So this one goes to you, mate.
Oh, stop it!
Of course,
These are meant to be embarrassing.
We did give him that training on how to use WhatsApp and how to upload videos to YouTube. And
I didn't know how. I someone's here tonight showing me how to do it. He's just out of shot. He's wearing a hat. I'm a bit scared. He won't leave. Actually, no, you know what? I'll save that. I'll save that to the end. Next, we've got the man who has least appearances this season, unless the old George is involved. He's got a golden boot when it comes to requesting songs from DJ Drama on his much loved website. Even if he'll never say Gallagher shots on the microphone, the award for DJ Drama's request world record goes to Adam, the greatest cameraman. Adam, are we yet to hear the words Gallagher shots uttered by DJ Drama this year?
Not this year. It's going to be next year, though. It has to be. He won't even say podcast now.
He won't say podcast. He's down. He's only got 240 characters, and most of them is just singing over the songs that he does. But Adam, what's the first song you're going to request when we can get back in the George as a team?
Murder on the Dance Floor.
Right. Wow, amazing.
On the dance floor.
Bang.
I'll take it.
No thinking on there. Chris, I think next up, you know most about this one.
Right. So I think we're at the point now where we became quite familiar with a lot of the listeners, a lot of the viewers of the channel. So it's not even an inside joke anymore. So most mates, it has to go to Decker because Decker's mates with everybody. Like the amount, like you should look at his Facebook. The amount of friends that he's got on there is through. He can't have any more. You can't even request to be Decker's friend on Facebook anymore.
Doesn't matter if you know him or not. You're still his mate.
So everybody's Decker's mate.
Chances are, if you've come across Decker this year, he's probably told a story. He's not credited you. He's just said, "Well, my mate said this," but then he's probably told it in his own little way in the same time. I think Jordan's on that list. Cooper's on that list. Decker's mate, whose mate's a mate, and mate's a mate of mine, a mate, and his dog's mate, is also told that story. Decker, what is the art to having that many mates?
Just be a nice person.
Oh,
that was nice, Decker.
That was nice.
To shoot,
I just try to be a nice person.
Did your mate tell you that?
I did. But what else are you meant to say though? That's what I don't like. What I'm not going to put in the group. Michael said this. You're going to go. Who the fuck's Michael? So I just say my mate.
Probably won't, to be honest.
to be honest though, Decker, there's a few times where we'll know like similar people. And like, even if it's just me and you talking, you'll say, my mate, like, if you go, my mate, Mickey, I'll say, well, I know who he is, Decker. You don't have to say my mate.
Yeah, I see what you mean, yeah. To
be fair, I think Decker's referred to Chris as his mate once or twice. So
Probably.
Oh, of course I have, my mate.
He's never said it about Mark.
No.
Anything, strangely enough.
I love Mark. I hope people don't actually think we don't. Well, he might not like me, but honestly, I love him a bit. I think he's a great lad.
Who are you talking about?
Well,
Mark.
The best bit on Monday when we got back together at the Ashley. I walked in and Chris was there, Adam was there. And Decker came in and I was like, "Oh God, I've missed you." And I went, "Decker, I've even missed you."
Brilliant. That was funny, that.
Last but not least, Decker, gets most mates there, just in case it was any doubt of who was going to win that. Finally, I wanted to nominate Worst Hangover. Not just the one, probably a few times. I've never seen someone so unable to have a drink the next day. It goes to Chris. I'm sure most of the channel will back me up here, those who sit next to him at the match. I actually said to him yesterday that he came into a match so late one time because of his hangover. I was sat in the East stand and these guys sit in the strawberry corner. I could see how white his face was from where I was sat in the East stand. In fact, I would say that best he could probably see from where he was at the time. Chris walked in and he looked like he'd rather be like dead. It was what like, and add to that.
Is that because he was just at the game or because he was hungover?
Well, I mean, probably most likely. I think it was early in the season, but add to that, I've never seen a man who literally looks so unhappy to be drinking a pint of dark fruits.
He didn't even speak. He didn't speak until the 60th minute. He just
sat there. It was like a Rafa sub, man. I didn't speak at the 82nd.
Oh dear me.
But just on that note, I should also mention that the another special award to Bestie should be least moving in any game. So much so that we in the Strawberry Corner are convinced that Bestie sometimes brings a cardboard cutout of himself to the match.
He was the first one. He started that trend before lockdown, man.
You can look at Bestie for the best part of half an hour. And I know Newcastle don't score many goals, but my God, he will not move.
So the thing with Bestie, he sits on the back row in front of the Sports Direct sign. I think he's just
I've never seen
painted
Bestie sit.
the Sports Direct sign.
Yeah. He moved 3 inches left of the S at one point, and I think we went, "Oh, he's alive. But yeah, that is it. That you'll be Christ Almighty. That's probably the longest video we've ever done, Chris. But we have to say hang on 2 seconds. Another facts from Richard Masters. Richard Masters would like to say a big thank you to Guillermo Clothing and GEORDIE Gifts for sponsoring I shouldn't be reading this out really. GEORDIE Gifts for sponsoring the podcast this year and helping the channel. He'd also like to say that all Newcastle fans are a bunch of tramps, especially that lad. No, I can't read any more than that. I honestly, I can't do it. This has been the Gallagher Shots Awards. Chris, have you got anything to say just before we go?
Mate, it's been a pleasure. I like years and years back when Gallagher shots were started, it was just me. And looking back 4 or 5 years later and seeing what it's become right now, and having all yous involved, it's been fantastic. We've had a couple of other people involved that have fucked up along the way who are no longer here, not dead but gone. But
Henry Service.
But like I said, mate, I trust every single one of you with what you was doing, what you was bringing to the channel. It's been an absolute pleasure this year, even though the games haven't been great. The season's been bang average, absolutely shocking, to be honest with you. And it wouldn't be the same without you lads and lasses here. So thanks very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers, everybody.
Thank you.
And Decker, for one final time, I would like you to just give us the immortal line of the actual awards night, if that's all right.
What was it called again?
God.
That's it. There we go.
Done. We're done.
That's it.
Finished.
Done. We're done, you know.
All right, we're done, you know.
We're done, you know.